Figured out how to turn. We're live now, but I figured out also how to turn off some of the technical problems we've been having with KO Player. Fixed it all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's a thing that's like auto optimize or whatever, and that's what was making the like weird stuff. But we're live, so let's quit talking about that.
We're live. Somebody was already crying.
No more crying. Dale. Oh man, I'm not gonna try to pronounce that name. All right.
Rumham, you're a little bit far away from me today.
I am. We're far because we have a special guest in the studio.
No.
SuperMagicalCup champion, Clark Kent.
Woo!
Joining us live in the studio as a guest caster.
I wish we had given winners a belt and like.
Mm-hmm.
I am the grand champion. I'll be like, DDTing you and all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Rumham likes his wrestling.
I love me some wrestling.
I'm the king and these are my plebes.
That's right, Sheebs. That's right. We got the king chair for our lovely guest. We'll be sitting in the crappy fold-out chairs, eating leftovers.
I'm sure I could take the back.
You guys will eat when I tell you to eat. That's what pretty much it's going to be.
But it's a big week. So this is the 7th SuperMagicalCup Invitational of Season 2. Mm-hmm. We're over the halfway part through the season. So what's your read so far on Season 2 of SuperMagicalCup, Clark Kent? We've got some big names and some cool new decks.
I mean, we got a lot of big names, people emerging that we've never seen before. I mean, the whole qualifying process brings out a whole new group of players that have never really had a chance to, get a part of the SMC because it's pretty much, first come, first serve, whatever.
Yeah.
The point system gets it perfectly right where you can actually guarantee your spot in it. So all these players can get in, and you don't know who's going to win each week. I mean, you know the good players, but I mean, you never know who they're going to get matched up with.
Sure.
And
yeah.
The type of decks that are always changing. And
of course we've got the balance update that went in just 3-4 days ago, and this will be the first SuperMagicalCup under the new update. What card do you think is going to break out and really surprise people this week?
What card? Probably the Lumberjack. You're probably going to see a lot more Lumberjack playing. That attack speed is so fast.
People are going to be working on their wood today.
Oh yeah.
Chopping wood. I'm actually expecting even more Bowler than we've seen recently. Bowler's been pretty popular in the SuperMagicalCup the last few weeks. I think the reduction to 5 Elixir and how it matches up well against Lumberjack, against Mini P.E.K.K.A., against the Trifecta deck. There's a whole lot of decks out there where Bowler is a really effective defense. I really expect to see quite a bit of Bowler this week.
Oh yeah, I mean even with the the reduction of the cost, I mean it makes even quicker to get out there. You can even cycle it faster. I mean, the only thing that downplays, they have a lot of 20-something% of the not hit points. It was damage that was done or something.
Right.
That could be a little bit of a problem, but
it was 10%. I think it was 7% hit point, 10% damage.
Yeah, it was total almost 20% total.
Yeah, like a haircut.
Yeah.
Sure.
What I'm most interested in seeing after this new balance change is not really what's going to be played, but what isn't going to be played. How are minor decks going to seem now? What is Zap going to be like? How are people going to be using that? Is it still going to be effective? Maybe despite the minor nerfs and despite the Zap nerf, maybe that deck is still good enough to hold its own. Also, Giant Poison. There was not a lot of changes directly to Giant Poison, so how is that going to change?
So far from watching tournaments this week, it seems like Giant Poison decks were pretty able to integrate Bowler into the flex spot of the deck, right? So there's always that flex spot in the list where they run, Prince or Ice Wizard or Princess or something. If you put Bowler in that spot, you have a pretty reasonable Giant Poison deck that beats other Giant Poison decks because of how good Bowler is at screwing up the pushes behind a Giant.
Yes, the Bowler is pretty much the greatest thing for that Giant Poison deck just because it destroys anything in the back behind it, and those guards don't stand a chance.
Guards actually, guards might be the card that we see disappear from the SuperMagicalCup meta. They've been very popular the last couple weeks, primarily because Mini P.E.K.K.A. is so used.
Yes.
But Lumberjack chops up a squad of guards in less than half the time of a Mini P.E.K.K.A., and Bowler just cleans them out, right? Like 2 rolls, they're done. So.
Yes. I'd like to see, there's going to be some different decks out there. I can see a few different ones.
So people are playing right
Holy
now.
tamale. All right, I think we got a pretty good game to watch. We should probably jump into a game. I mean, I would love to watch the bracket, but I think this is a pretty good game.
Let's go check. Let's check to see what this game is. I think this was a mismatch. I think this was not. They're not playing the right people.
Because that is a high profile match.
Yeah, I think it was an unfortunate grab there. Let's go check out the bracket real quick.
Let's take a look at the bracket.
Yeah, for sure.
So the question question for today, Rumham, is what does Clark Kent want to watch? Let's go through the bracket and figure it out. So we're in Group A, but I think Group A and Group B are kind of lumped into one clan. But which matches do you want to watch? Let's go down the list. Who are the players that you are most interested in, Clark Kent?
Oh, first of all, one name that really pops out to me is my buddy Clyde.
All right.
I always like to watch him play. Hopefully he doesn't choke.
Clyde won the Season 1 championship, the Season 1 Invitational Championship, and also won the second event of Season 2. Clyde is one of the most well-known tournament players. He was the MVP of Clan Royale League Season 1.
That's right.
So there's always a lot of pressure on him to perform. Maybe that pressure leads to him choking.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, no.
He's got to get used to. I mean, he's going to Toronto. I mean,
That's true. He's already going to go. This is
You
good
should give
practice.
us some insider information. Do you think Clyde is prone to tilting and choking, or do you think it's something he actually handles pretty well?
I think he handles it really well. He's a great player, and he doesn't let the pressure get to him. So I feel fairly confident he will do pretty well this tournament.
I think Clyde's biggest weakness is that he relies so heavily on his Lava Hound deck. He's one of the best Lava Hound players in the game, but every once in a while you come up with decks where Lava Hound's not getting by this Inferno Tower Poison, minor control decks usually are one of the bad matchups, and that's one of the more popular decks. So we'll see what two decks Clyde brings this week. Maybe there's no Lava Hound and he can get all the way to the finals.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
All right. Interesting to note too that Manly FA, if it's the correct person I'm thinking of, plays in the qualifiers a lot.
Yes.
And something interesting is he does really, really well, but he usually earns a very high spot early in the tournament, and then something happens towards the end, and he just drops a few places.
Oh,
And
no.
So I don't think he ever has won a first place in the qualifier, but he's always there. Whenever I spectate these tournaments, I always see Manly placing very high, and maybe even the first place spot.
Sure.
But by the end of the tournament, he's down a few steps, and that's
But
interesting.
Group A is more than a one-name crew here because we've got Grubby, who's top forward before as well as Achan, Flash. Stellarim is another person we see a lot of in the qualifiers. So this is a pretty reasonable Group A here. I'm excited to see which two players advance out into the top 8.
All right, so we'll definitely start out watching Clyde because we're here already. Let's take a look at Group B.
Ooh.
Names that stick out to you. Clark Kent.
We got Darth Jar Jar right off the bat. That's one. Patriots, of course. Master Sparky, I know.
Yeah.
Can't count out Turtwig Data,
No.
the ex-bowler and extraordinaire. Turtwig Data is the only player to top 4 with 2 Expo decks ever. I wonder if he's still playing Expo this week.
Yeah.
That would be kind of interesting if he plays Patriots. They both played Expo decks versus each
Oh,
other.
yeah.
Good point.
Patriots
That could be a big round 2 matchup.
Yeah. So
Patriots,
we'll
the defending champion.
Yes.
One with Expo. So while Turtwig is the only person to top 4 with 2, Patriots is the only player, besides Woody himself, to actually win with an Expo deck.
Yeah.
He won with his Expo Lightning Log,
Spirits.
Spirit, yeah.
Before the
Weird
patch
stuff.
deck.
Yeah, right.
The patch deck.
None of those cards were particularly hurt, though. And, of course, Darth Jar Jar's been very hot. He didn't top 8 last week, but placed second place and then top 4 the 2 weeks prior to that. So definitely a very consistent player. I love watching Darth Jar Jar's 3 Musketeer play. He's one of the best at splitting and really creating these awesome split pushes on either side that...
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's actually pretty much mastered the 3 Musketeer play.
Let's move down to Group C. Group C here. All right, we've got some big names. What do you think, Clark Kent?
Oh, what do I think? Well, we got first. What name on there? I'm gonna let you guys know. You guys are the experts here. What names on there actually stand out to y'all?
So to me, Apex Predator obviously has been working hard, grinding, improving over a long period of time.
A very above average player. Not mediocre like some horrible people have said in the past. Very above average.
And so that's an interesting name to watch out for. Other two, Chicken Bob and ESLYO. Chicken Bob is kind of a newer name coming up and really trying to make his kind of presence known. And ESLYO is somebody that we talk about a lot, very consistent in the qualifiers. I don't think has been able to necessarily translate a consistent bracketed performance on the level of a player like maybe Woody or Clyde or something like that, but playing really strong. Giant Prince was a deck that ESLYO investigated a lot of time into. With this new patch, I wonder what he's trying, if he's still doing the same thing. And then, of course, goes without saying, Woody there in the bracket. Woody is kind of always a favorite. And
I think that Chicken Bob ESLYO matchup could actually be a very very intense competitive game for a round 1 match.
Yes.
Chicken Bob was actually in first place for the Northern Arena qualifier this past week to win a free trip to Toronto. He was in first place for a while and he finished in the top like 15 or something, but he was holding that spot for quite a while. And of course, ESLio has won I think more qualifiers in the Super Magical Cup than anybody.
Yeah.
He wins 2 to 3 a week. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But you're right, only one top 4 performance to show for it. So I'd really like to see ESLio go deep this week. Let's also not undersell Vizard, who finished second last week with 2 very awesome decks. I love the Hog Cycle deck that Vizard played last week.
Absolutely.
You can check it out on our YouTube channel. It's already up, some of the matches there. But that Hog Cycle deck I've been playing a lot this week, and it's a blast. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, I'd like to see Woody get back there, but I want to actually see, I want to call it Woody for a second. I want to see you actually play something that is not motor-based. I will take that challenge any day. I just want to see it. I just want to see
Throwing
it.
shade. But why would you want to be a pleb who crosses the river?
Yes.
That
I
seems
don't want to spend energy walking to my
Yeah,
side of the
it's a
town.
big scrub play, I think.
All right, let's jump into the game. A few more questions here that I'm actually interested in asking Clark Kent. In terms of emotionally, and also maybe in terms of your mind, there's the heart and the mind. Who does your heart want to see win, and who does your mind tell you will win?
Ooh, that's a tough one. My, well, let's see here. My heart tells me, I'm going to say that in an accent here.
Oh, yeah, we're all the way from Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana here. We're going to go with it. And then I'm going to go with, my heart says Clyde. I think Clyde. If I could pull up another one.
All right.
He would be the first person to repeat twice in a season. Bless his heart, I'm going for Raintown. Raintown's got 3 top 8s, has returned this week after a several-week absence from the Super Magical Cup. I'd like to see Raintown get his first top 8, top 4, or a win of Season 2.
Mm-hmm. I still want to see one of the qualifier heroes, Manly, ESLio, Chicken Bob. I still want to see them really make the performance. I really want to see these new players that are grinding and working hard. I want to see their efforts validated.
Yes, of course.
So I'm going for one of those names. Let's take a look at this match. As Rumhem said, Clyde loves him some big bodies. And he's playing a Lava Hound deck with 2 nerf cards and 1 card that Rumhem identified is probably going to be rid of in this meta because of the 2 cards that his opponents are running. Bowler and Lumberjack.
What do I know? Yeah, so here's the thing. I really like the Lava Hound Miner combination. There's been a popular deck going around that runs Lava Hound Miner and Balloon, but I don't think the Balloon is a little too risky of a card. So I like that he's running just Lava Miner. What you're going to look for in this match is when the Lava Hound is about to die, like it's near death, the Miner's going to come digging up and pop out. When the pups explode, there is a split second where the pups do not exist, and the tower is going to lock onto the nearest other thing. If it locks onto the Miner, that gives those pups free reign to tear down a tower.
Oh, yeah, and it's quick. It's very quick.
Oh, very quicker than you think. So what does Manly need to do to win this match now? He's got Bowler, Lumberjack, some of these new cards. Like, what does he need to do in order to pull this game out?
Well, he's going to have to counter that Miner real quick just to get rid of it, make sure the tower focuses on the pups.
Yeah.
But other than that, he's got nothing really to take down.
The Bowler's shockingly without targets, right? Like, what are you bowling on? Maybe the guards, but like Princess is really far back. Skeletons you don't care about. Minion hordes in the air.
I mean, he's going to have a choice between what to zap. He's going to either zap the pups or zap the horde.
Good point.
And then what are you going to do? Poison the pups? Poison the horde? What are you going to do?
Same thing with poison. If he drops poison against the Lava Hound before the pups come out, right, to kill them,
Yeah.
you can always like Miner Minion horde the other lane or something like that. So there's some cool tricks. Well, let's definitely take a look.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see now before this game runs away from us.
Yeah, they're moving real fast right now.
Now Clark Kent knows why there's awkward pauses.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to dig through here and catch the match.
Well, let's make sure that we get Lava Hound up for Clyde.
Yes, absolutely.
That is definitely the card to
Clyde
watch.
blue right here.
And who would have guessed he would play Lava Hound?
And I couldn't have seen that coming.
And there it is, first card played, and even then.
Oh, right off the bat.
And let's try to get Bowler or Lumberjack up.
Yeah, the Lumberjack is here. Woo!
I'm quite the graphic designer. You're welcome.
Yes, look at that, beautiful.
You can see the
900 hit
consistent
points.
size of legendaries here.
200 damage, but what is not displayed is the insane attack speed and high DPS that the Lumberjack
Right.
now carries.
Oh, it's so fast.
It has the fastest attack speed in the. It's tied with Witch for the fastest troop attack speed. Will these skeletons get in and kill the Ice Wizard? They do! They're swarming! Oh my god, look how much damage they're doing! He has to zap early, but he's spending 2 elixir to zap a 1 elixir card. Right?
Yeah, there's. Well, look at this push coming in the other lane, though. Oh, we got.
And in many ways, because of the reasons that we identified before this game came out, I actually think that this game is going to probably come down to a 3-crown race, and it's really looking to be the case.
Oh my god, is this coming out just like that right out of the bat?
Right off the bat. This is
no.
a quick. Look at the pups go. That's still the same lava.
And there's the poison we talked about, but it's a little too late as the guards and minion horde and princess have really already kind of gotten their value.
Right.
Yeah.
It's great to wipe them up, but...
Wow, that was a quick tower trade.
If this comes down to a race, Manly is actually on the back foot. He took a lot of extra damage, 2.4k on the King Tower, while Clyde is holding a 4k health King Tower. That might actually make all the difference here. Clyde plays an aggressive Lava Hound at the river.
And notice that there's no Musketeer, there's no Archers, there's like not actually any anti-air troops in Manly's deck, which allows Clyde to just play Lava Hound at the river because, well, what's gonna kill it, right?
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing besides, slow down of the Ice Whiz or, because now he knows it's, look at the speed of the Lumberjack.
Oh, he's going. And if he dies first, that just speeds up that deadly giant.
That giant,
but
Poison.
That's a lot of stuff jumping on the giant there. Still gets 1 punch in.
Well, he knows, Clyde knows that the zap was just used. Yep, there.
Oh no, but it tagged onto the minion horde, so actually only one of the minions just actually runs and dies into the poison. I question Clyde's decision to put Giant in the back, right? He already knows that Clyde is committing that 7 elixir to the right side. There's no units that Clyde has to attack air, so it doesn't actually slow him down to play the aggressive drop, and he can race the 3-crown if he plays his Giant aggressively, especially with the Giant Bowler deck. You're so slow moving, you really want to cut down the travel time as much as you can.
Oh man, Clyde, come on. I have faith in you.
And with as much discussion as we've had about Princess, getting that very highly publicized nerf that people have been very upset about, Princess seems to be doing great for Clyde. I don't see too many situations where, you wouldn't want the Princess.
Yeah.
Oh, man, he takes a tower. But can he stop all of these lava pups?
So this is going to be...
This is it.
You think it's...
it is. Oh.
Right off, first match of the day, we get a pretty exciting 3-2. You don't get a lot of 3 crowns.
No, we don't. That was a good one to start off, man. I'm pumping up. My blood's already pumping. I'm glad.
All right.
Woo.
Let's make sure we get that screen blocker back up. Woo.
Can't forget the logistics of the stream here. We really don't want to spoil anything else. Man, Clyde versus Manly. So let's watch
that. We got Darth Jar Jar. We just scrolled by. We got also Turtwig data.
We got a lot of games here. We
got double here.
Let's watch the Jar Jar. Now, one of the things that I actually didn't really think about, which I probably should have, is 3 Musketeer Lumberjack. All of a sudden, this becomes like a very scary split push if you put a Lumberjack on one lane and a Knight on the other lane, which, by the way, that's Darth Jar Jar's deck that I'm talking about.
Right.
What happens? What happens when Usain Bolt drops his Rage spell and inspires his teammates to go fast?
I like this deck building because what we saw about Darth Jar Jar's decks in the past is he would bring 2 3 Musketeer lists. One would have all tanks, Knight, Barbs, Giant, right? Just hit points for the cost. And the other one had like tricky combat cards like Valkyrie, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Miner. So this one, he seemed to mix. He's got the Knight and the Giant who are very popular, but he's replaced the Barbs with Lumberjack, which kind of has the function of a Mini P.E.K.K.A, but of course the utility of, Rage could be really good here.
Yes, it could be really well. I mean, because overall, without the Lumberjack, it's just pretty much a 3 Musketeer race whose Muskies can go against the other Muskies.
It's actually cool that we have a double 3 Musketeer thing going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm going to go ahead and put the Lumberjack on Darth Jar Jar's side, because really the big difference, they both have 3 Musketeer, they both have Giant, so really they're matching each other in that sense. They both actually have Knight and Ice Spear and Zap and Collector, so there's a lot of cards that are crossing over. The only thing that Luminous is missing is that Lumberjack, and how big of a difference is that going to make?
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning too that it's a mirror match of 3 Musketeers decks where nobody has Fireball or Poison.
Yeah.
Right? So, this is going to be an actual combat game that we see going on.
This is going to be a shootout.
Yes.
Shout out to my boy Luminous for running my girls' Archers. I like Archers. They got a small buff. The difference between last week and this week is that Archers will now 2-hit Goblins. Before, they would leave Goblin with 1 hit point. No Goblins in this game. I mean, Luminous has them, but no Goblins to fight. But let's see how well Archers do. It's been very absent in the tournament meta.
All right, guys. Before this one starts, let's see how many Musketeers will be on the board at once.
I'll say 6.
You say 6?
7. 7. 7.
7.
7.
I will guess.
I'm gonna go with 8.
You think 8 will survive?
I think
I
8.
was gonna take 8.
All right, let's see.
I guess I'm gonna have to say 9.
I don't know. I think it's that
guess
top
I'm
one
gonna-
right there.
I guess I'm gonna have to say 9 because 6 I think is kind of a cop.
6 is easy. I think 7. I think it's hard enough to cycle back to 3 Musketeers when there's already some on the board. So if there's 7, I'll be impressed.
You guys already took 7 and 8, so I'm gonna have to go for broke and say 9. If I win, I'm expecting something big here.
We're doing this under Price is Right rules. I like the split archers. That's one of the advantages I think archers has that's not explored very much. Is it's a great neutral play early in the game. It only costs 3 elixir, so you're passing the buck without leaving yourself elixir dry to respond.
Yes.
And it provides a pretty decent defense on either side. That if they don't deal with it, it does some damage. It's a little chip damage. But
before this game actually gets too underway, one of the things when I casted a lot of Clark Kent's games, and hopefully this doesn't get too exciting, but I really want Clark Kent to comment on this because I feel like he's one of the players that is the best at actually leaking elixir. Okay. And I say that completely seriously. Normally leaking elixir is a bad idea, but I feel like Clark Kent is the best at deciding when he actually wants to wait instead of committing a card. And I would love to hear his thoughts on when he makes those kinds of decisions. But let's take a look at these exchanges. Darth Jar Jar put on a lot of hurt.
Yeah. It was a very bad goblin play by Luminous. Luminous dropped two elixir goblins to try and stop the double musketeers. Well, musketeers one-hit goblins at tournament cap, so they just went pop, 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 and back to shooting the tower. That 2 elixir just went off the board right away.
Yeah, well, going back to your question, I choose to leak elixir mostly because I forget that the elixir stops growing. I'm actually paying attention and waiting for someone for the opponent to drop a card, or I have cards that I really just don't want to waste. It's usually a hand of something that, oh man, I can play this if he plays this, or if that plays that.
Yeah.
But then it's just like, oh man, I could have just started building up again and cycle back. But
That's always kind of the consideration. I always feel really bad when I'm dropping my strawberry ice cream all over the floor. I feel real sad. Giant double musketeer on the right side doing a lot of damage to the towers. Goblins in the back.
Oh, still shooting one more shot. Oh, takes an early tower. I'm with you. Actually, I'm someone who religiously does not leak elixir, and even if that means making kind of a bad play, I just can't. I can't sit there and let the elixir go up.
Yes.
I always have to cast something.
Yeah. I mean, elixir is so precious. You only get so much in one game.
Oh no. I'm going to try and sit in chat.
There's an echo. There's an echo.
Oh, he's strong play. Well, he knows there's no fireball.
Yeah.
There's 6.
Yep.
Oh, there's 6.
There's been 6 on the board already.
All right, please cycle.
And with double elixir
Before you
and the
kill
pumps
off-
out, this is possible.
Please cycle. Do it.
Oh, here comes Goblins along with the Knight. That's a really incredible push on the right side there. Zap does a good job, and Guards distracting the Musketeer and killing it.
Oh.
Wow, those 3 ranged Musketeers are moving. Oh, wow, that Knight is definitely not enough to distract, and it's definitely not enough to slow those things down.
This turned into a pretty one-sided.
This is pretty hectic, though. It's a wild bunch of units all over the board.
A lot of units.
Yeah, now the question is...
Do we all lose because only 6 ever hit the
Yeah.
board,
I
right?
think,
What a cop-out. Yeah, you guys didn't try hard enough.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Boo. The question is, was it... I think it was a combination of a lot of things. My gut feeling tells me it was a combination of a lot of things. Lumberjack helps. Notice an interaction when Rage is on the board, just like when Poison is on the board. Musketeer loses a shot when Poison is up there. Musketeer gains a shot when Rage is up there.
Yeah, if there's a Musketeer that dies in one tower shot, the tower will shoot it before it gets in range and gets its shot off. But if there's a slow effect on the tower from Ice Wizard or Poison, if there's a speed up effect like Rage on the Musketeer, she pops off one shot. That may not seem like much, but 200 damage is pretty reasonable, right? Like Screen is pretty reasonable, I think, overall.
Oh yeah, it is. It's very reasonable.
I mean, it's like 200 damage, right?
Yeah, it's 200 damage. It may not seem like anything, but I mean, most of these matches are 1-0. It comes down to 200.
Yeah, often. Like how many times do we see a game come down to a poison, like that last minute poison? Turtwig Data has abandoned the Expo, it looks like, and is opting for Bomo,
Bomo.
Bowler Mortar, Bomo.
Bomo Row.
What is this deck?
It's a very CG deck, right? So he's got Rocket in there to deal with Elixir Collectors. He's, of course, got the Bowler Mortar combination, kind of like the Expo. And then you have Tombstone and Inferno Tower as your big defensive structures. I guess I would expect a Tombstone to come out first, and then the Bowler behind the King Tower, and then Mortar when they hit the river. So the mixture of Skeletons and Bowler defend the Mortar.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'd almost put a pump in there. You kind of always expect a pump with the mortar just to get it cycling more. And plus that rocket, I mean, you want that to hit the rocket as much as possible.
How much is Strider going to get caught off guard there with that Elixir Collector? If that thing gets rocketed, that could be real bad.
Yeah, that could be real bad. That's, oh man.
But overall, I think the Giant Boulder deck might actually have a pretty good matchup here because Giant can both block the Mortar, right, be a big hit point sink, and also just push through the defense and start punching the Mortar. But Boulder's pretty good because of its penetrative shot. The shot goes all the way through. So even if you put Skeletons in front of the Mortar, the Bowler's just going to hit right through it.
But I'm excited for some Bowler on Bowler action here.
I do like Bowler.
So I think it's really going to come down to that Inferno Tower for Turtwig because I feel like that's the big tool he has to handle the double big body setup of Bowler Giant. All right, let's take a look here. Let's move this over to this side. We can take a look here. Heisenberg is excited.
Hey, Heisenberg.
All right, here we go. Oh, God.
That's not the best start, but you see how good. I mean, you know, maybe it's like that first hog, right?
Yeah.
You just lead with Mortar because you never exactly know.
Yeah.
I really favor the Bowler in this matchup here until this minion.
There it is. That's why I picked arrows.
Wow.
Man, that Bowler's still going. Still rocking in the free world.
Oh,
Bowler on Bowler.
he doesn't look nearly as creepy in the in-game thing. His profile picture, Bowler's a little creepy looking, but his model doesn't look nearly as bad. I don't really like that Tombstone play there because doesn't he? Yeah, he just
Wow, that was a
rocks
The
it.
Skeletons immediately got destroyed by this single Bowler attack.
That's
Because it's
an interesting.
rest in peace,
So
Tombstone.
right? So that's something I wonder if Turtwig just found that out. Like,
Oh, no! The Mortar tagged onto the tower.
No, oh.
Let's go
That's
for
really
Turtwig.
bad.
I'm a Mortar
Oh,
fan.
nice
I'm
Ice
happy
Spirit.
about this.
Nice Ice Spirit.
Oh, great.
Nice.
Oh, and the Ice Spear got eaten up by the minions right there, unfortunately.
Oh,
That's
man.
actually a lot of damage. That's about like some 600, 700
Yeah.
damage on the tower.
Yeah, I got
But
a
of
good-
course, will the Giant tie it back up?
Yeah, that ice was a good play. Good play. Slow it down. I mean, it's still going to do a few hits, but it's
one
going to do a
more.
lot less than what it would have done.
Okay, they come out even.
They are tied.
Oh, the
Yeah.
2 pumps, though. That's going to start hitting. Oh, there we go. Nice
There we go.
rocket.
So it keeps him from actually stacking up the 2 to 3 to 4 pumps
Yeah.
that really let those Elixir
Yeah.
Collector decks run away with the game.
Yeah. Strider won't be able to get Elixir Collector game going
Right.
at all.
I also like that because both of Strider's towers are kind of the same health now, it opens it up so that any Elixir Collectors behind the towers allow Turtwig to switch lanes if he has to.
Yes. Very versatile.
All right, this is what we're talking about. Double big body against Inferno Tower.
Good
Is
play
this
with the
gonna be
minions.
Ooh.
Oh.
His Ice Spirit
Okay.
jumped onto the minions.
Wow.
This
This has danger.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, great.
No,
I like that behind
wow,
placement.
good
That
play.
worked out all right.
Great Inferno.
All right, he's cycled a second Inferno now. But the question still is, I actually don't think Turtwig has enough straight damage to take care of this double big body deck that Strider is running.
No,
Yeah.
because this bowler's going to... Oh,
And since Bowler doesn't knock back other bowlers or giants, I feel like Strider's in a good position to continually play just giants, bowlers over and over again. And it's going to chip through even 100, 200 damage at a time. We're about to go into overtime where, you know,
Yeah.
the first tower down wins the game. Doesn't matter after that.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got to push here.
Oh, it's tagged on to the
Uh-oh.
tower.
Oh, I like that angle of the Ice Wizard where it's actually helping guard the mortar. Oh, those minions are going to go down, I think.
Double bull.
Oh, he still had to use arrows. I didn't really care for that, like having to use arrows there. I hope the Ice Wizards could have taken it out.
Turtwig is in the cycle now. He could put down a second mortar, but he needs to control the situation for his Tombstone to try to handle the mini peck on the field. And the mortar is done about a little bit of damage done onto that right side tower, but Turtwig is still very, very far behind. And now Strider's back to the giant game plan.
Giant, yes.
Yeah, oh, I think that Inferno Tower needed to be a little further back.
Yeah, and the good thing about Ice Spirit is it's like almost like a double zap. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it resets everything,
Yeah.
and oh,
It's half a freeze for a quarter of the cost.
Yes.
That's pretty wild.
Against Siege, target control is incredibly
no.
important. Being able to swap that mortar's target twice.
this is it. This is the
is it right
push.
here.
This is the push.
One swing.
One.
Oh, Mini Pekka needs one more swing, and he
Ah,
knocks
there it is.
down.
Strider.
Unfortunate start for Turtwig data there, but you're right. Like the bowler and the giant are just very, very hard to deal with, and I don't know what Turtwig could have done there with the mortar deck.
Yeah,
No.
it really seemed like one of the bad deck matchups that probably Turtwig did want to have to see, which is interesting to me because we identified Giant Bowler as kind of being one of the big decks to see.
Yes.
You would think that you would want to build against that, but we'll see. Turtwig might have something under his sleeves. So, all right, let's move on. Who else do we want to watch?
Naders!
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, all right. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at what. Oh man.
What kind of?
Okay, tell me.
No.
Try to explain this to me. All right. All right. Was it Naders last time? That I was making that he was really sad, and I thought he was gonna lose.
Oh,
to Skeleton Army.
Synergy, yeah, okay. So Synergy made the top 8 last week, and he was running, I think, this exact same deck. It was
Army.
the double Musketeer with Skeleton Army.
Yeah.
Clearly, it was his first Super Magical Cup. I talked to him on Twitter. Yeah. So first Super Magical Cup, clearly emboldened by his success with Skeleton Army. We're gonna see how this goes. Funny enough, actually, a lot of great targets for it. If he can dodge the Valkyrie. There's a lot of things in there that would struggle with...
It was Patriots. It was Patriots that was upset that I was like, oh, I think he's going to lose to Skeleton Army, I think.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this is Skeleton Army is actually one of the better cards at splitting, ironically. Like, I mean, if there's one thing that the Skeleton Army is good at, it's splitting.
Yeah. I've never seen that. I've never once seen someone split
If you put Skeleton Army in the back, you just get like...
junk mobs everywhere.
Junk mobs everywhere. And so the question is, well, you have Fire Spirits, you have Zap, and you have Valkyrie. Right, and that's going to give you enough splash to handle it. But against decks that don't have that much splash, once you split the skeletons, it's actually kind of hard to deal with them.
It's interesting is that there's no Zap in Siji's deck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time we saw a deck without Zap? He's going to be relying on those Fire Spirits, Ice Spirits, and I guess Skeleton Army to defend against all those Goblin Barrels. And of course, Naders is famous, infamous maybe, for his Giant Skeleton deck. I mean,
He loves that giant skeleton.
Man, we don't have a Skeleton Army card.
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason.
Never had a need for one.
Oh man! All right.
So blue, what do we got here? We got Lumberjack, maybe Valkyrie.
Do we have a Giant Skeleton card? What is with Naders and Giant Skeletons?
With Valkyrie. At least.
He likes to be different and try something new. I think he just likes the explosions and he wants to be a hipster.
If you want to try, if you're trying to make a different kind of spoon and you make the spoon flat, it's different. It's just not.
Oh no, I think Giant Skeleton's a pretty interesting defensive tool. Does it need a buff? Sure, but I don't think it's. I don't think he's a bad card. He just needs a little more hit points. Needs some more hit points.
Yeah, I think there is like concepts in which Giant Skeleton can operate, and Naders is probably just in the investigatory phase.
And the only problem I have with the Giant Skeleton is the Goblin Barrels with it. Like, this deck doesn't seem like a very Zap heavy deck.
Strong start. Strong counter.
Yep.
Ooh, and he did it with both spirits, right? So that was a 3 for 5.
Spirits are actually so good in this game.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's interesting. You'll see in the meta time, like we talk about 10 elixir versus 9 elixir, 3 musketeers. Well, the introduction of spirits means that 1 elixir difference is all the more valuable.
Yes.
You know, those spirits can change the game up quite
Check
a
out
lot.
the Raged Valkyrie. She's attacking pretty fast there. Wow, she just fought a musketeer and a knight.
Yeah, that's crazy. And got to tame the tower a little bit.
Yeah, figured that was going to happen. Figured that was about to happen.
On a scale of
Goliath. Actually, not really, because
oh, nice zap.
And there it's going to get close. Oh, the
Nice.
We've got giant fans.
Naders. There you go. You want to have this one? Robham can grab the other one. Unfortunately, we only have 2. I wish we had the crying face too.
I didn't. Hey, True, let me tell you about stealing these from the Helsinki tournament. No, we were everyone was given one, but we were going around trying to grab them off the floor, and I made a horrible mistake. I'm going to apologize publicly to Wicked Gaming. He gave me 3 to hold, and this girl came up and was like, "Hey, can I see that?" And I said, "Yeah, you can see it." And I gave it to her, and she walked away with it. And so Wicked never got his 3 set.
What? Who does that?
Thieving Finnish people.
Can I see that? Just watch.
Oh, so I like the Valkyrie there. I'm actually glad that Naders didn't play the Lumberjack there because the Lumberjack's low hit point would have made him pretty vulnerable to the Musketeer. Wow, 3 Musketeers made short work. That was an 8 elixir push that went nowhere.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
This is dangerous for Naders. He's gonna have to drop that skeleton.
It's really hard to
That skeleton does 0 damage. Look at it.
A little too late, and look at all the damage that's getting done now.
Yeah, one of the muskies locked onto the tower.
He was ahead pretty early on because of that giant skeleton push, and unfortunately, actually, this might take both of them though. Oh, pretty good. All right.
Wow, the knight survived.
And it's locked onto the knight, which is probably what you want.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I would have left that miner alone with it was kind of a waste of a 4. I mean, the lumberjack.
I like the rage there.
This is the game plan. He's got Goblin Barrel popping down on the Three
The
Musketeers.
Three Musketeers just like, not only did they chop it up anyways because they're just such a strong card along the tower, but because there was other things to fight, they didn't walk into the giant skeleton bomb like they might normally.
This just in, Three Musketeers still are best taken out by spells rather than troops.
Oh, yeah.
Overall, though, I actually think that Nader's deck has the tools in order to deal with this, but it was almost like the sequencing was wrong.
Yes.
You don't want to attack with Valkyrie. You want Valkyrie on defense against the double Musketeers, and he was forced to play things like Lumberjack or Valkyrie, or I'm sorry, Lumberjack or Giant Skeleton, which aren't quite as strong against the three.
Yeah, once he saw the first Three Musketeers dropped, I would have probably saved up the Valk and never used it until you see it, because you don't have you don't have a fireball, you don't have a poison, you don't have anything. So
yeah, we didn't see the giant skeleton ever played behind a king tower.
No,
which would have been a really good way to invest it and then build up a big push along with it.
Yes, it would have forced the moment of playing the Three Musketeers on defense, where you can actually do additional damage to it. And
Grubby going straight to what wins. He's got the Lumberjack Giant Bowler. Which should we feature? The Giant, the Bowler, or the Lumberjack? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Bowler.
Bowler.
Here's
at that face.
Funny thing about this stat card, I forgot to change it actually after this bouncer. So this is actually its old stats. So he's a little weaker than this and a little less damage. Yeah, about 10% less on each.
Yeah, but he's good.
But he's still good. He still has that same face.
He also has no elixir.
That's actually when we pulled the graphics from the client. That is what it looks like. All the stats and stuff are generated dynamically in the game.
They're all subject to change.
Yeah.
All right, Clark Kent. I actually saw you run, I think, like a minor hog kind of thing, like some weird kind of hog deck. Tell me about this deck. What do you know about it?
What do I know about it? Yeah. Well, it's really fast, actually. You got great defenses. The one thing that's really dangerous is it's really susceptible to air. Anything in the air is going to be tough. If he has a loon, which he doesn't, is tough. Woo!
What about Baby Dragon?
Baby Dragon actually
gotten pretty good.
That's actually one of the cards that was buffed, I think, quite significantly. They changed the attack animation and the attack speed.
Yes,
but we haven't really seen.
I mean, I haven't seen. I tried to use it on the ladder, but I mean, it's the ladder.
Musketeers are still popular.
Yeah, it's tough to count. I mean, tough to gauge anything on the ladder. So, but no, it's tough. It should be a tough matchup for him actually versus the giant poison.
I'm not sure how does he actually stop a giant bowler lumberjack push?
No, he doesn't. There's nothing because
guards aren't going to be that useful against the lumberjack.
No, yeah,
bowler.
this
is the eternal question for Hog Riders, and one of the things that Rumham pointed out for Hog Rider decks before is, well, one of the reasons why Hog Rider decks were so strong is because cannon was just such an efficient defense. But now that cannon has been nerfed, and it's kind of hard to have a structure that can hold its own, especially with Zap affecting the Inferno Tower now. What defensive tower can a Hog deck run to stop these big decks like Giants? And so your next thought would be, well, a Hog Rider is a fast-moving, high-damaging deck. You should try to go for trades. But then you get into a situation where now you're having to play Hog into 2 towers.
I've heard that trifecta decks are starting to adapt by running Inferno Tower.
Yes.
Because Bowler just completely wrecks the Valkyrie, Hog, Musketeer decks, as all of them are medium-sized units. Great value Fireball right there. Hit the Ice Wizard, the Collector, and the Tower.
And the Princess Shot cleaned up the Ice Wizard just like that.
Now watch this. I think he's looking to play guards. Watch how fast Lumberjack cucks through guards. That is not the same as how a mini P.E.K.K.A. deals with those cards.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Clash Royale Olympics. Lumberjack runs fast, attacks fast, and does a lot of damage. Very nice.
Well, you just see, wasting list. He was dropping
the ice cream. I cry every time.
Let it melt.
yeah, exactly. That's a good way to.
Now, is he going to pump or is he going to bowl? Wow, that's an interesting choice there to Elixir Collector, and not just play the bowler behind it immediately, right?
Well, the first thing too is he's playing the pump exactly right where it still can hit the damage. Like if he fireballs.
You're right. If he tilted it 1 square to the right, it wouldn't be fireballable.
Yeah.
Oh, no! He's gonna actually speed him up.
Actually, I like that though. The Hog is a distraction to let the mini P.E.K.K.A. chop the bowler up.
And it got to swing off anyways.
Nice. Very good job. The bowler doesn't do a ton of damage. The knockback is really the value there.
Yeah, the knockback is the great
I don't know
value.
if you want to trade with a Lumberjack like that. Okay. Wow. Okay. The Lumberjack actually got wrecked.
Maybe Grubby. Yeah. So maybe that was the smart play because Grubby was able to defend his Collector. And then got a second one out. So now Danny's finding himself in a really tough situation because you're down by 2 pumps. That's a big deal.
Interesting that he played the miner to hit the tower and not the collectors.
Yes. I would have saved the miner because the pump was coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miner's not great against tower. Like it has the really reduced damage. It's not a very strong anti-tower card. Even more so now that it has less hit points and a slower deploy.
This is a problem push because the mini P.E.K.K.A was just used.
And the lumberjack is running up in front.
So mini P.E.K.K.A is out of cycle as this fast giant bolt and starts to come in. Ice Wizard will help clean that
There
up.
it is.
Oh,
it's gonna be a few hits. It's gonna get a few hits on rage.
Ooh, and every single
man.
punch is the equivalent of a
fireball.
fireball. And yeah, I really like the Ice Wizard Bowler combination. Both the knockback and the slow really protects those bowlers from taking damage.
That Hog stood no chance.
I disagree with that fireball as well. I feel like he would have been better off fireballing
This
the
group.
push, than
This thing's gonna get real ugly real quick.
This
is.
I would say that this is a direct byproduct of Danny not being able to control the elixir game of Grubby. Right. Double elixir phase, double elixir pump. Because he played that miner in the wrong spot, now he's facing the real repercussions of having a big body deck that has elixir advantage over you while you're running a hog deck that doesn't have an Inferno Tower.
Yeah.
Yes, he could have. Danny could have probably not rushed as much once he was losing the elixir battle. You knew he had 2 pumps. I mean, just slow it down a little bit. Just slow it down, and next time, just take a breather and just save your cards that you need to counter. Just save them.
Yeah. It's also interesting. Sparky? Oh, we got a Sparky fan in the house.
Oh,
King K.
Lord.
And Flash. Flash is an excellent player as well. Someone we see a lot in the qualifiers. Has top 4'd before in a Super Magical Cup. King K, I believe, has a top 8 performance to his record, but not a top 4. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But King K's bringing the giant Sparky deck. We've seen a lot of people switch out Sparky for Bowler because they consider Bowler a little safer. It's a little less high risk, high reward. I mean, the shots aren't as big, but it's also not as vulnerable to like a single guards blowing your entire life up. But I like the King K sticking with the splashier machine car to help push this through. Flash running the Minor Inferno control deck we've been seeing a lot of recently. Notice, though, that there's no poison, which I feel like is one of the key cards in this list.
Yeah, the ticking damage is really good synergy with Minor.
Yeah.
Zap, Poison, Minor is actually good to close out a game.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
So, I'm not really sure where Flash is going with this deck list. There's got to be something here that I'm not understanding. Because he seems like between Ice Spirit, Princess, Zap, and Arrows, he's really afraid of minions, goblins, skeleton armies. Like, what are we trying to fight when we have 4 cards that deal with swarms?
I'm trying to figure out what kind of damage he's going to do to the tower. Is it just relying on Princess Minor?
Yeah. Poison makes a lot of sense with Minor because it helps kill any of the stuff that they're playing with it and slows down the attack, giving you like extra hit points.
Yeah,
in that regard.
It's pretty much like 2 minors attacking at once. And
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
We'll see. And that's actually one of the things that Woody is so great about with the minions is that he really makes sure that his Minor assists the minions in a very strong way. If you have a deck without that, really, what are you gonna do to push?
That was a great counter to the Minor.
Right, yeah, that's 2. The Fire Spirits is only 2 elixirs, so he saved 1 elixir, and I think only lost maybe 1 or 2 pumps off of his collector, which...
Minor has a slower deploy time now, so it's actually very reactable.
Yeah.
If you're on top of your game.
Sparky's super strong, by the way, against all of these giant bowler decks. I could see Sparky as kind of coming out as a popular counter for the giant bowlers because it doesn't get knocked back.
Done.
Boom! Great play by King K. I love that move.
Nice.
Can we save that one? Yeah, that was a woo!
I get that one for sure.
Good. All right, the zap is already committed. Guards are on the field, but Sparky's going to shoot the Inferno Tower, and that's great for the giant.
Oh no! And then here come the Fire Spirits. Oh!
Sparky paid for itself.
Flash is looking like he's going to have some trouble right away. The Ice Spirit helps freeze it, but that's only going to reset the attack time. And with nothing attacking the Sparky, it's just going to charge right back up.
That's
Oh man, that was wow.
Sparky's a very popular counter to these giant the tank decks I was talking about because it doesn't get knocked back, and also if you play giant behind your King Tower, I can play Sparky behind my King Tower in the same lane, and your push is very in bad shape right now.
Yes, especially I mean if your backing behind the giant starts catching up and they're all touching each other, that Sparky residual effect is going to knock out anything behind it.
Right,
So
of course, it's a huge splash radius.
It's huge.
So I definitely
do it again.
Oh,
He's doing
it
it again.
What a great play! King K. I love this play. Boom. That is a sick move. I have not seen that out of giant Sparky decks.
He just drugged the mini packet from one lane to the other.
Yeah, I like that because the center place giant, you can guarantee that it's still going to get there. Zap for King K, but it's going to be a little too slow. So I guess he's just going to be relying on the Sparky. Oh, man, I love guards as an anti-Sparky card.
So do I. It's so great.
You know who's a really underrated Sparky killer? Dark Prince.
Really?
Dark Prince
'cause
costs 4, has the shield, does a pretty good amount of damage, and because he's got the swing, even if they have other like spirits, goblins, things like that around, he'll take them out as well.
Interesting note. I really feel like King K.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Keeping the Sparky alive.
I mean, King K has like done and one moves to flash here, 3 pushes in a row. That Sparky has earned its value before even crossing the river.
Nice zap.
Oh,
those
Fire
spirits.
Spirit.
It's really, really hammering home the idea of the Sparky itself is not really what you're... If it does damage, that's great.
Yeah.
But what you're really looking for is your opponent to play Elixir so that he can't defend things like the Giant, like the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
I see it as just a great defensive tool. I mean, it's a two-way card, right? But I think the biggest mistake people make is trying to play Sparky at the river and trying to attack with it. It's very easy to counter once it crosses the river, but it's such a threat. Like we were saying, you can't play your Giant until you see the Sparky. So if a Giant bowler deck, which its only win condition is to come across the river with this big push, can't ever get its pushes started, you hold the trump card. You hold the all right, you're not going to do a thing until I get my Sparky on the board.
I felt Flash actually once after that initial push where he lost the tower, he actually countered the Sparky pretty well. I mean, he got used to it. He figured out the cycle, what he needed to do.
Absolutely.
And so it was just that needed that one push.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's really the benefit of Sparky over a bowler, right? Is that you have that big impact push and it's set and done. And we talk about, I mean, we just had a blast of the past and talking about the OP deck, but that's really one of the things that the OP deck had that I don't think really exists in...
Wow, we got some A+ second round matchups here.
We're already in the second round here.
Yeah, the games go real fast for sure. So Turtwig Data, even though we watched him lose the one game we did see, did win the other 2 matches and moves on in the round against reigning defending champion, Patriots 34.
Will he still be the first 2-time? Did you ever? Okay, Clark Kent, let me ask you a question. Did you want that 2-time back-to-back winner title?
Yes, of course I did. That came so
You
close.
lost in the finals one week, but then won the next week.
Came so close.
That was SuperMagicalCup, I believe, 3 and 4 in season 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
So close.
It's so interesting to me, and I would love to hear your thoughts about it, Clark Kent. Why do you think there have been so few repeat winners in the Super Magical Cup, even in Season 2? So finally, Woody has made a second win, and Clyde has made a second win in a major event at the Super Magical Cup, but why is it so difficult, especially back-to-back?
It's just difficult because it's a grind. I mean, you don't know who you're playing against. And in this format, you could play someone who has an exact counter to your deck.
Yeah,
and so it's
you
can't dodge it. And it's just one of those things. It's like, it's just tough.
I think also the quality of play has just gone up and up and up with each event. Like we're looking at here the bracket, like you can't find a single match that's between 2 unknown players.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to not just win, but you have to win 6-7 matches in a row against some of the best players in the game week after week in order to do so. It's a high water mark for anyone.
Yes, it's just really tough to go through all these quality people and just keep on winning and winning and winning and winning and playing against different decks, playing against different things.
So I like Turtwig. We've talked about Turtwig's deck. Patriots is running the minor control deck that I think I'm a little more familiar with, right? It's got Inferno and Elixir Collector, 2 different buildings that allow you to pass the tempo to your opponent and force them to attack into you. And of course, the minor zap poison combo that allows you to force through damage kind of no matter what. Right?
Oh, yes. The main thing in this beginning is to keep on pumping, build that Elixir advantage, and then just rely on a push between either like the guards and the mini P.E.K.K.A. and the minor poison, and just keep on relentlessly going and going and going.
Yeah, because the Ice Wizard, Mini P.E.K.K.A. and guards are really majorly defensive tools that you don't really expect to hit a tower, but if they ever hit a tower at all, that's significantly fewer minors and poisons you need to force through
Yes,
a win.
I mean, once you start building that elixir advantage, I mean, they're easy to cycle through and keep on going, and you know they don't have a counter for it. So it's like, at one point, they're going to break through.
Yeah.
So the question for Patriots 34 is, how is he going to build that elixir when Turtwig Data has Rocket in his deck?
Right.
Oh.
I also think that this deck, specifically this archetype of all the minor decks out there, suffers the most from the minor nerf. Because every single swing of the minor really mattered. Wow, great counter, by the way. Patriots opens up with the Inferno Tower to counter the minor. I think that's definitely like the best thing that
going to
Patriots
push it
can
to
do
the King
prevent
Tower.
minor.
Push him to the king.
Oh.
That's always fun to do, is push the minor into the king tower to get that, extra.
Yeah. That really hurts the miner, actually, just as it hurts the hog. But
Yes.
So we're going to see the Tombstone coming out here to help distract. I'm surprised. So I guess he's trying to set up for the combination here now on the mortar on the left side now.
there we go.
There's the rocket. Interesting that he went straight for the...
Wow, the bowler
love
pushed the
the
mini
bowler.
P.E.K.K.A. off of itself, and the Tombstone actually protects the bowler just a little bit longer.
Yeah,
and
because-
the same thing for the Ice Wizard.
Yes, Bowler and Tombstone have great interactions because being moved, being displaced at all, causes you to retarget.
Yes.
So with the trash skeletons in front, that is just perfect.
Yeah. Interesting. I think.
Oh, that was a well-timed poison.
I don't know if Patriots knew he was going to get that Inferno Tower involved, but he's certainly happy he did, right?
Oh, yeah. No, mortar's coming right behind that.
Yeah.
Or it
Question is,
was.
do you drop the mortar now while there's still some time left on the Inferno Tower? I guess the answer is yes, right? But, he's going to use that as a
As a
hit point
distraction.
distraction, yeah. It's far enough out of the range where the two Infernos don't hit each other.
Yeah.
And then he sets up the Inferno for another distraction.
Yeah, mortar doesn't do a large amount of DPS by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
It's more that it does it from such a safe position that
Yeah.
it really forces the... But like you can see, any sort of big hit point thing can usually tank most of the mortar's life.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It really takes a long time, and really the biggest thing for the mortar is just target acquisition.
Sure. Well, I'd like to see... I think Turtwig's trying to just rock... Oh, I could have rocked the other side.
Oh, why?
Well, here's the thing. I think he's going up against a deck that he knows he's probably not going to be able to get the mortar up against. The Patriots deck does not attack, right? It just defends. And if you're just going to defend the entire time and never really attack, then I think he knows you're never going to pull off a good mortar setup.
Yes.
So instead, he's going to go defensive and trying to rocket cycle this game away. He's a little far behind, but rocket hits so hard, so fast that, maybe.
I mean, even like one or two bowler hits against
Yeah.
it, I mean, that's going to do a ton of damage.
And actually, even that placement, I like using the arrows as a spell target. Oh, hits the Ice Wizard too. But the arrows takes 2 pumps off the collector, so it helps mitigate the
Yes.
collector plan as well.
Yeah. So really, right now, he just has to think about every single excuse he can to throw that rocket over onto
Right.
the other side.
That
Poison
minor
plus
poison
minor.
is doing some damage, and then the guard get...
I think Turtwig's big mistake there was casting the rocket and the arrows back to back, like literally just a few seconds apart, like because that signals to Patriots that he only has 1 elixir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although it wasn't as far off as it was. I mean, look, one more rocket.
One
would
more
win the
rocket,
game.
yes.
So if he could have, I think Turtwig had a really good strategy. I mean, that's the sign to me of a very smart, very adaptable player that he recognized within a minute 20 of the game that his normal strategy was not going to work, and adapted as well as he could, and was only a little off, maybe 1 push away from being able to actually execute that rocket cycle plan, which is another good reason to play rocket over, say, pump.
Yes.
in those kind of mortar decks.
And Rocket, actually, last week we saw a lot of great Hog Rocket decks.
Yeah.
Rocket is
Hammer
becoming.
Esports was running that.
I think Rocket and Lightning are hand in hand in many ways because they're very situational cards that you need to analyze the elixir situation and figure out, okay, is it worth it for me to go down a bit of elixir or even try to trade even
Sure.
at this time, or save elixir so that I have the option to trade even when they drop a card.
Rocket's also a good hard counter to Sparky. Just
It is, yeah. It 1 hit to Sparky, and actually 1 hit Bowler, I think, now as well, with the hit point reduction.
Yes.
I think it might.
I see.
It'll be close.
I see. Interesting. All right, we got Blodica against Clyde. So Clyde did move on.
Yes.
Clyde did move on.
Oh,
He
we
lost
see-
the first match to Manly.
No, he won.
So-
He 3-2'd.
Oh,
three,
that's
two.
right. It was very
Yeah,
close.
yeah.
You're right. He did win. So Clyde made it through against Balodica, who has Log, Miner, Musketeer.
I like the triple spell. I like the log and zap. Log and zap, actually, I mean, if you think how good zap is and how often you want to cast zap, and even decks that are trying to take advantage of the fact that you only have 1 zap in your deck, there's a lot of advantages to running log and zap in the same deck. I'm not exactly sure what Baladoka is going to do with this, because it seems like his only real ways to win are what? Fireball, Musketeer, Miner?
Yeah.
Like, what else can even function as an offensive tool in this
Yeah.
deck?
Yeah, what's going to tank for that Musketeer?
What's going to kill the Lava Hound? Or I mean, actually, I take that back. He's got the Musketeer.
He's got Ice Whiz too. That could slow it down.
Okay. All right. So maybe he has an answer for the Lava Hound. But I am... it's definitely a very fast cycle deck. I mean, what's the average cost of this deck? Like, under 3, if I had to
He's got
guess.
2-2-1-1, 3.
Yeah, it's probably under
Yeah.
3. It's probably like a 2.9
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that. So it's a very, very fast cycle deck. But without something like Hog Rider, I don't see what is pushing through for the big damage.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see how this deck works. I want to see what is a successful outlook for
Sure.
this deck, too.
And I'm really open-minded about new archetypes. I mean, it was only a few weeks ago that we saw Clyde really debut the Lava Hound Miner combination.
Yeah.
Even though he had won prior events with Lava Hound and Miner existed at the time, it took a while to put that combination together. But now that it's there, I love it.
1 + 1 is 2, but sometimes
There's a
you don't
log.
know. Princess, unsuspectingly, that's like a horror movie situation right there. That's some Friday the 13th.
A giant log just comes rolling out of it. I prefer it as like an Ewok trap. Great defense there with the guards against the Miner. Wow, like Miner didn't do any damage to the tower, and of course these guards are probably going to kill this Ice Wizard real quickly as well. And now Ice Wizard's out of cycle.
Yep, and there's Zap. Hey, called that one.
Oh no!
But the Miner is still there. Oh wow, and the skeleton's come up chipping some damage. Oh, it's not getting hit by the splash.
Log. It.
Miner is there, so that
Miner
the Miner
still
takes a little bit of the tanking, and it allows some of those things to get damaged. Great zap there to reduce it.
Man, but look at how much damage already is done. 1.5k, despite the fact, I mean, it was a scramble for Baladoka.
Yeah.
He didn't really, or Balodka?
I'm
it was
saying
a scramble.
Baladoka.
Yeah, Baladoka.
It's probably wrong.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
But you're right.
he gets
Yeah,
on Twitter and we
the
can
pup still did, like 600, 800 damage,
Yeah.
even despite the zap and the defense and all that kind of stuff.
All right.
All right,
So
so
we got the Miner
is ready.
I think,
Miner's coming, right? Yeah.
So now he kind of knows how this is going to go. He can drop the Miner and the
with
poison.
the poison, yep.
And that way, even if goblins come down, it's not overly effective, right? They'll die pretty quick.
Yeah, so he knows.
Unless you
There's
get
no
carried
distraction.
away.
Yep, Zap.
And actually, if the Miner dies before the Lava Hound, though, then you don't get to use his sweet tanking body.
Fire is a good option there.
And
But
there's
again,
another 1,000 damage.
Yeah, exactly. Like if Clyde can reliably put 1,000 damage on Baladoka's tower and not face a counterattack for it, like these counterattacks are getting countered for what, 3?
Yeah.
Like,
You know
how
what-
little elixir are you countering this for?
And you know what the amazing thing is? Clyde still had the massive, elixir
Yeah.
advantage.
And I think a lot of that comes when you do things like you throw your goblins and they die to the poison and the Miner, and then you have your musketeer, then it ends up dying in the defense.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to even maybe let the tower take some more damage just to make sure that those units survive so that you have something to counter push with.
Though Baladoka did show in the last push, it's a little past now, the advantages of running both Zap and Log. He was able to log on offense and then zap the minion horde on defense right after, which is pretty useful.
Well-timed Miner.
Oh my god, this Lava Miner combination! Zap's not enough because the Miner's still alive.
Man, I really have to feel like you're so incentivized to play arrows against this deck. I cannot imagine a better option to just guarantee a good defense against it.
And great use of the guards there, right? Like, Clyde was just knew that as soon as that log came down against guards, he's like, all right, Lava Hound in the middle, the exact opposite place I normally play a Lava Hound, in order to take advantage of the 2 guard skeletons' high DPS. We mentioned earlier that's one of Woody's great skills, that he's able to use his Miner with his minion hordes and able to push through damage when other people just might let it die to the tower. And I think that's something that was really shown well there by Clyde.
All right, let's scroll through a few more of these games and get an update on where we are in the tournament. Let us see.
We haven't seen Shreddy Wop yet, but he's in a lot of these events and usually does pretty well, so I kind of like to see this.
Let's take a look. All right, seems like Shreddy Wop is running what seems like a Patriots-y deck.
That's
It's
a
definitely the
Pompeo
Miner.
deck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
That is the pump. You're right. That is the Pompeo list, but it is the Miner Inferno control archetype that we've seen going around. Some people opt to run without pump. Like I like the ones with pump a little more. This is a triple legendary version that Pompeo popularized. I like the triple 2-cost cards. He's got 3 of them. They cost 2 each. It's going to be really hard to get to that Inferno Tower when you've got goblins, trash mobs, right? Zap for stuns, and the Fire Spirits for splash damage, and that's before getting into the 3 legendary cards, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This deck took quite a bit of a hit, though, as 4 of the cards in the deck just took a nerf on Wednesday.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how he just handles it. I mean, the reduced, area of damage from the Princess, it's good to see how he gets it, and he can't reach certain aspects he used to. And
yeah, of course.
Yeah, one of the things that happened a lot with Princess before, fighting against Giant decks, is even though the Princess would tag onto the Giant, cards like Minions, which Mary happens to have, would get splashed on the Giant's body. Now that the splash area has changed, I don't know if it's going to be that reliable.
Sure. And keep in mind, this is happening Supercell has announced that they're going to change the projectile speed, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is in fact like this is like sort of a weird 1 week period where we're seeing sort of the worst princess that's ever existed in the game, and yet she's still popular.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think rightfully so.
I mean, nothing does what she does.
Yeah.
A completely irreplaceable card in terms of what she brings to a deck.
Minor Goblin.
That's great. Oh, the Goblin's However, that actually still did free up time for the miner to do his job and take out the full elixir collector.
Yes.
Let's see where this lumberjack is. He going to go in front or behind?
You go behind. You'll run in front and have that bowler tank a little bit.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
No tombstone though. We're seeing how cool I like that tombstone bowler combo. Now we're left behind. Miner's not in the cycle yet.
Oh.
Ooh.
Ugh. It's gonna have nothing behind it.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing about Lumberjack is that he's slightly worse than a 4 elixir card on his own.
Yeah.
So if you don't take advantage of the rage, you'd have been better off playing Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah.
Look at that! Look at that rush! Woo!
Shreddy Wop is beating Mary all up and down this field right now. Cause elixir inefficient play and then punish the collector that Mary wanted to get away with in the first place.
And that's the thing about the giant poison is if you can't get a pump down, I mean it's just a very, very slow playing deck.
Yep.
And tying up 11 elixir. Oh, man. Tying 11 elixir up in something that can't fight air, right?
Yeah.
You're asking just for like 3 elixir minions to completely ruin your deck.
Still can't protect his collector.
I'm surprised.
Oh, and the Mini P.E.K.K.A. got a shot off.
Ugh. I'm surprised that Mary hasn't been a little more ready for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's happened 3 times now. So when you play your pump, A, play it in the middle, quit playing it in the back corners, and B, have your lumberjack ready, have your minions ready, and just be prepared. Like, even if he does something over here, like, runs this hand over here, know that he's really going to try to do the thing on your collector.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, he's putting the zap out there. I mean, I guess he's just going all in right now.
Unfortunately, those zapped minions, even with the rage,
Well, he's going to throw the gobs down. There's nothing to counter the
No!
bowls.
bowls.
But, of course, that now the miner's going to do a pretty good amount of damage.
The princess over there is just chipping away.
She does infinite damage. That's the best card in the game.
There we go. It's in the middle.
There.
But he's allowed the miner to do a 360-degree approach of attack.
Now, there's no poison in Shreddy Wop's list, so at least he knows he's not, vulnerable to the poison and things like that. It could have been ticked 1 square over to the left just to avoid fireballs and poisons, things like that, but so far so good.
Yeah. How do you get past? I mean, you have minions in your list. That's going to be a great way to get past the Inferno Tower by the time.
I haven't seen him use a poison yet.
That's true too. That's a great poison spot right there.
Yeah, like that, like even right here, there's plenty of stuff right there that can all die to
goblins,
poison.
plus a
And that's a great value poison.
That's
And he's
great.
letting it walk away. That's unfortunate. And he keeps playing Giant as like a hit point thing, but like why? To what end? Like you're gonna keep running Giants into this Inferno Tower.
You know he's got another one.
Yeah, exactly.
The rage.
If it survived 1 push, he has it for the next push.
Yes.
Cycling isn't that hard, especially in these sort of decks where, again, they're running 3 2-cost cards with the whole idea that if I have to get back to the Inferno Tower, I can as cheaply as possible.
Yeah. And if you think about it this way, my Giant costs 5 elixir, my Inferno Tower costs 5 elixir. I can cycle as fast as you can, right?
Yeah,
It's just as expensive as your card. There, finally, the minions take the charge, and Lumberjack is set on it.
At least it's on the bowler this time, I guess. Like, so he zaps it. then
He
goes to the
zaps
Giant.
it.
Yeah, it's still
No,
got
there
range.
comes the miner.
We're getting somewhere now.
Here it goes.
But
Here
we're
it
over.
goes.
Oh, little late. He finally learned how to counter it.
Yeah,
and then,
I think Mary
Man.
adapted just a little too late there.
Talk about lines of play.
Yes.
Talk about lines of play.
So that's something we talk about a lot too, that it's not, when people ask all the time, like, what's the best deck? Tell us the best deck list. Deck lists don't matter as much as how you sequence your cards one after the other to beat another player. We should watch this actually. It's a cool looking game.
I want to see what his other.
Yeah, I don't even know what.
You can see it right here. So I think we got to watch at least one of those games.
Was he running two? Is he running 2 Lava Hound decks?
No.
This
He
is the
lost.
same
So
one.
I know,
so
but what was the first?
I?
Oh no, he
Let's
played.
find it. Let's find it.
I don't know what other deck he's running.
Let's find it. Let's find it.
Oh, he's running a 3
neat.
musket.
That's cool.
Cool. Okay.
I do want to see the Golem deck though. The Golem deck looks sweet.
Yeah, we haven't seen
the other
Golem
one.
in for. That's actually an interesting deck too.
That's a speed cycle.
Yeah. Let's watch this.
No zap.
This.
We have yet. So Golem was a card that just recently got buffed, and we were questioning how well it would come. It's up there. It's top right or top left. I'm sorry. No. We were wondering how much we would start to see Golem in the metagame because those
It's
buffs
a pretty
were like,
significant buff.
well, they were
right?
like small, but it was to everything.
Yeah.
It was like, hit speed, death damage, hit points. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that got buffed, even though they were small buffs across the board. I think the biggest thing that holds back Golem is, well, you're only at 2 elixir when you cast it, and you're
Yes.
very vulnerable. But so is Clyde, right? So you both have this situation where they're trying to survive these moments of having only 2 or 3 elixir, and neither deck is particularly fast. You know what I mean? And neither of these decks have like Hog Rider Princes, that kind of thing, that when you drop your Golem, you just get punished for it right away. So this is going to be a battle cruiser game of Clash Royale.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. I mean, what's going to counter the Golem for Clyde?
Really, it's only the minion horde.
Yeah, the minion
that's the only
horde.
thing.
It's a good point, because guards are not going to be good, and they might get blown up by the death damage. And
Yes.
and of course poison. The thing that stands out to me about Quentin's list is that with Ice Spirit and Fire Spirit, it's actually a pretty cheap cycle for him on pumps. Like, even if Clyde wants to minor and poison the pumps, if I can go 1, 2, 4, 4 with 2 of my rare troops,
10 elixir
then
cycle?
that's or I'm sorry, 1, 2, 4, 4, so 11 elixir.
Okay.
But 11 elixir cycle is still pretty reasonable,
Yeah.
especially if you're making the good defenses and counter pushes while doing
And
so.
I wouldn't feel bad of wasting those 2 cards.
Yeah,
So,
because I assume that you're playing Musketeer Valkyrie. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's something relevant to kill along the way. Yeah.
And honestly, looking at the cards that he has to defend with, it's 2 parts of the triangle defense, right? So
Right. Absolutely.
it's very controlling, right? You have control over the match. All right, let's see Clyde.
And of course, having Musketeer helps with Lava Hound.
This was Clark Kent's pick.
So Quentin, best possible opening, right? Elixir Collector in hand. If any sort of pump deck wants to open with that as much as possible, and we're going to see how cheaply he can cycle. That's a 2 for 3, right? Like right away, he's got an elixir advantage on that trade, and it doesn't look like anything mean is coming for his pump, at least not yet.
Because
The Whiffosaurus by Clyde there. Very unfortunate. It looks like he was meaning to drag it over to the Elixir Collector.
yes,
And
take out everything at once and just...
he was playing with rubber gloves on, playing after eating his after eating hot wings, and there's a slippery screen. The game's not over for Clyde, but I'm very surprised. I mean, Quentin knew exactly what to do there, right?
Yeah.
Like, take advantage of the situation.
Yeah.
I do think that there's an opportunity here for Quentin to turn it around, but I'm surprised that Quentin's not like pumping up or anything like that. Like, I think I would have rather pumped and then Musketeer, because then Musketeer contributes to the cycle of the next pump.
Yeah.
Well, Quentin knows he has that tower down no matter what because he has the poison. So I would kind of skip that one and just hold off so that King Tower to just, back.
That was too slow. Sorry, Quentin. That was just a little bit too slow. It's just like that was like the time where Rock hits his head. Is like,
Right. So let's see. This mini P.E.K.K.A. should be able to push this Valkyrie, but oh god!
Oh
God! Oh, and it's not enough.
Good distraction, though.
So you see, though, Clyde was really able to use his cheap troops and the skeletons, especially, who've kind of fallen out of favor, but are still very powerful cards.
Yeah.
They're great for distraction.
Interesting thing about skeletons is previously, like, skeletons kind of force, like... So, okay, think about it this way, right? You can play 10 elixir, but if you defend by 9 elixir, your benefit is still only 1 elixir. If you play skeletons for 1 elixir and you play goblins for 2 elixirs, you're getting that same benefit of that 1 elixir, right, as you did with this complex, like, 14, 15 elixir push.
That's what Woody talks about a lot. Woody actually had him on stream, did an interview and stuff, and he was saying that he actually doesn't like Elixir Collector at all because he thinks that, it's a +2 elixir trade, but it's a really lazy way to get those cards, and you can get +2 elixir trades all the time with 2, 3, 4 cost cards. I mean, like, Fire Spirits onto Barbs, for example, is a really good way to gain a huge elixir advantage.
Yeah, Clyde and I have actually talked about that. It's kind of the luck of the draw of the pump, too. You can lose it because you have it on the back last card.
It makes it, that's the right point. And like Clyde struggled early on because Minor was his 8th card. So when Quentin opens with a collector, you could see Clyde was trying to cycle quickly and get back to his pumps, and that's what made the poison misplay there.
Yeah. So in the end, it wasn't even about the golem. In the end, somehow. That's tragic.
It was really mini P.E.K.K.A. Musketeer, a much more trifecta sort of push there.
That just did it in.
Quentin actually eliminates Clyde 2-0 in the round. So Quentin with a big upset in the round, the 3rd round of this week's SuperMagicalCup.
Man, who was
Knocking off a former winner.
We are actually.
Whoa. We're already at the top 8. Well, before we reveal the top 8, I'm going to go get a drink. And we should talk about the Super Magicals, and then we'll get into the whole topic.
Why don't we take a short break of like a minute?
A minute. I'll go get drinks. You guys can hang out here. I'll just I got some sodas.
Let's chat.
Water sodas.
I got a phone call that I have to take with Mother Nature.
Oh no! All right. Well, I'll be right back, and you can just take that phone call. Clark and I will talk about SuperMagicals when I get back.
Cool. All right. We're hanging tight. There are some other questions that I want to ask Clark Kent about the game in general. Well, first of all, who was the guy who was in season 1? There was that guy who won, and he just dropped spells all over the place. Who was it? Was it Inner Lol? Was it
that just dropped spells? It was Fly Society that did the.
No. Like, well, Fly Society was spell cycle, right? So he was actually using a spell. But what I'm talking about is like, oops.
I can't remember who did that, but that was annoying too.
Yeah. It's just interesting. I made that comment because we talked about when that happened, Rumham and I, we talked about like, people are still learning the game because this guy literally just dropped like 3-4 elixir here and there and still won the match, right? There's still a lot of learning to do. Quentin, you dropped 4 elixir, I'm punishing you.
Yes, and that's the right thing to do. He knows he has dropped the poison. Okay, what do I have that's poison a bowl? Yeah. And let's just go with it. So, and it worked.
Yeah.
So
in your view, in terms of like the metagame and how players have improved these days.
Knocking stuff over back here. All right.
Rumham, not only did you just spill water on the computer before, and now you're just...
Yeah, I'm a mess.
In your eyes, how has the player base improved since Season 1 and Season 2, and in general in Clash Royale, with the tournament feature coming out, people really starting to realize in a big way what tournament level caps are and how this game is played? How have you viewed, in your experience as a top player, the differences in these games?
Well, between Season 1 and Season 2, I mean, it gave more people more time for the game to grow, more people coming in and actually learning the game, and then you have more people that actually have the time to actually get to tournament level cards, more cards getting getting up to the tournament level, and then you have the introduction of the tournament in-game tournaments, which is additional practice. I mean, you can throw one for 100 people and have it for $5. I mean, you can learn anything or join with. If you're in a top tier clan, they have them all the time. Go to Twitch, you can join one. We used to have one Twitch user using them constantly, just randomly throwing like $10 ones.
Yeah,
so
I think the core mechanics, people have really picked up and learned more about the core mechanics of the game a lot better. Like, early on in the game's lifespan, you would see things where people would be like, hey, pro tip, wait till 10 elixir to cast card. You know what I mean? Like, things that everyone sort of knows now as the way to play the game competitively.
I think that was a Clash with Ash video.
It might have been. It was like a Galadin video or something. It was like, pro tips to be a better player. And like some of these things were like, like, don't cast card, like, don't just play things at the river. Like, try to play behind the king tower because you can save up elixir. Like, all these things that are now widely known and shared with everyone. People were discovering them week by week, and you would watch relatively high-profile tournaments like the SuperMagicalCup back in Season 1 and see what is now kind of cringy gameplay compared to what is sort of the default.
Oh, it's way different. It's just... Yeah, people. I mean, I've learned how to use different cards, different interactions, and what's been going on. It's just an ever evolving game right now. So
I hope to see that over a long period of time. Like, Magic the Gathering has been around for 20 years.
Yes.
I hope Clash Royale's around for 20 years. And if you watch some of the early World Championships of Magic, it is so bad. Like, any like random dude at a gaming shop could be the world champion in 1996 because of how like low just the kind of fundamental skills are. And I think we're seeing that a lot with Clash Royale. It's easy to imagine a world where people do the predictive arrows and hit those like minion hordes on defense often, like more often than not.
You know, another thing about the difference between Season 1 and Season 2 is you have no balance changes really in between.
Sure.
So everybody can use the same deck they've been using over and over, more comfortable. There's been no changes to it. So
compared to Season 1, there was an update every couple of weeks. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, you can go meet your maker, Rainey, and we'll
make it rain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Why have we never thought of this?
Let's make it not more graphic than it needs to be.
All right. Well, actually, Clark Kent, we'll show the top 8 here in a second, but we wanted to do a real quick announcement. Clark Kent and I have been working on this idea of, we've been wanting a clan of really not just strong players, but high quality, high character players. specifically to give back to the community and help transfer the knowledge of these great players, all the stuff that's in their brain, and spread it to the community at large. So the Super Magical Cup has created a new clan called the Super Magicals.
Yes.
It's right now we are still looking for more players, although the vetting process might be a little slow because we're trying to make sure we get some good folks.
We're still working on details of how we're going to do it, and just
sure. But if you are a good player, right? If it's, you've done well in our tournaments, we're familiar with you through our system, and you're looking for a way to get your knowledge, your strategic stuff out to the larger community in forms of written articles, pre-recorded YouTube videos, live streams, anything like that, you're going to want to be a part of the Super Magicals. It's not like a trophy pushing clan.
No, it's not.
And it's really not an exclusive clan. Like, if you have a second account and that's the way that you want to kind of communicate, that's totally fine as well. But really, like, top players who are looking for mature, well-regarded, well-respected collections of good players and could work together on deck videos, podcasts, things like that.
Building the new meta.
Right.
That's...
Absolutely. So definitely check out the Super Magicals. Throw us an invite. Again, it'll take a little bit to approve people or whatever, so don't freak out right away. But I think that is going to be something that would really advance the Clash Royale community over the next few months.
Yeah, essentially it's people helping people. That's the main thing of this. I mean, there's so much negative stuff out there. We want to help the community and be less toxic and just...
Right. And you can see this already if you go check out our YouTube channel at Super Magical Cup on YouTube. We have videos that we're putting up already using some of these players to try and help people, right? We did the balance preview with Woody. Woody's involved with the Super Magicals. Apex Predator, we did a spotlight on one of his decks, his Lumberjack Double Prince mini package deck, which is awesome. I hope we get to see some of it more in the future. Turtwig Data, we did a focus on his X-Bowler deck. And we've got even more coming as Clark Kent just helped us with one of our History of the Meta videos that'll come out in the future. So we think this is going to be a really great way to create high-quality content for the community without getting involved in some of the seedier elements of it.
Yes.
So let's, I'm going to go pull up I'll switch spots over here to Rainy's spot so I can get the mouse control and bring up this top 8. So let's take a look. It's here. All right. So our top 8 for this week's Super Magical Cup. Achan66, who is a regular every week, usually makes it to the top 16, top 8, has had a hard time really breaking through into that finals. Close the door. We've been talking about the new studio getting built, and boy, they're building it right now.
Yeah, they are.
Clark Kent's seen it with his own 2 eyes, so he knows we're not lying. Backstab. Now, Backstab is another player, a member of Hammer Esports. He's actually, I believe, on their Hammer Esports CRL team as well, their Clan Royale League. Top 4'd last week with that Hog Rocket deck that Rainy had mentioned a little earlier.
I'm going to be interested to see that.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting deck. It seems kind of like the Hog Cycle deck that Vizard plays, which, hey, speaking of whom, right? Vizard played it last week except replacing the Collector with Hog, and then there's a few other small changes. But it definitely seems like a more aggressive version of this Cycle deck. We watched Shreddy Wop already. Another, regular in the qualifiers, regular in the other situations, but has not quite broken through into the finals. Vizard, second place last week, looking to come back for a repeat performance. Quentin just upset your boy Clyde. Is he now your pick?
He's going to be tough to go against. I don't know when many people are going to put... How do they get counter the Golem deck? So
I'm a huge fan of Golem, so I'm happy to... If Golem goes all the way to the finals, I'll be all right with that. Marcel P., a top 8er last week as well. This is his second consecutive top 8 performance, so Marcel P. is really breaking out and becoming a much, much stronger player. But I think the MVP match that we're going to have to watch as soon as we can is Darth Jar Jar ESL Yo.
Oh boy.
Either of these players could be the favorite in a given top 8, and they are forced to fight each other right here
right
in the
off
top
the bat.
8 round. Yeah, this is icky. So let's see how the matches are coming along. Oh, I'm sorry, they're actually in the...
They're in Super Magical Cup.
Yeah, so we got to switch into the main clan.
Super Magical Cup. Did you guys talk about the Super Magicals?
We sure did.
We're magical and we're super.
I imagine there's some kind of song, like, very show, like,
We'll
thing.
let Raintown come up with a song.
Oh, yeah?
Is he a musician?
He might be.
He's somebody. You know who I want to get involved? Have you ever heard Stickbug rap?
I'm
No, I'm not.
Stickbug is one of Clash Wars' commentators, and I watch his stream and stuff. He like freestyle raps to music, and it's good. It's not. I freestyle rap and it's miserable. Like I'm not even gonna do it. But he's like, I was sitting there like, I was getting into it.
Woody is a vocalist too.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks like he has the voice of an angel.
Yeah.
Some call him the
Have you ever
songbird
heard
of a
Woody's
generation.
voice? If you've ever heard Woody's voice, he sounds so proper. He's like a politician.
He is. He works in politics in DC. Can you pass me my drinks over there? We'll get into this.
Again. Musical chairs.
Yeah.
Musical chairs.
All right, so we're going to get back into it. We gave you a little bit of a delay in the top 8, gave everyone a chance to go ahead and go to the bathroom. So let's get right into this. All right.
Man, I feel like this is the best day for Clark Kent to come down because the games have been awesome, and it's a new patch. We've been able to see many, many new decks.
Ah.
Oh.
I can't wait. I got to see. Whoa!
Oh,
Darth Jar Jar.
POP.
If I thought I couldn't love you more, you just
OP.
proved me wrong. I love P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince. That's what I'm playing right now on the ladder. Such a funny deck. So let's see. I got actually to buff P.E.K.K.A.'s damage. This is less than P.E.K.K.A.
You want to know
does.
something interesting about the P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince deck?
What's that?
Is that I feel like before, when it was considered the OP deck,
Right.
players were actually better equipped to defend against it.
Okay.
So if you think about it, the meta back then it became OP deck against Hog Cycle a lot of the time.
Yes.
And Hog Cycle ran things like goblins, spear goblins, archers, chumpy units, cannon, right? Very
Right.
cheap chumpy units. And what this allowed you to do with mini P.E.K.K.A., right, is part
Sure.
of Hog Cycle, right? What this allowed you to do was split the prince with sensible cheap cards and spend enough to keep that P.E.K.K.A. walking around in circles for eternal time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You could keep that P.E.K.K.A. just walking around
Sure,
in
sure,
circle,
sure.
chasing the butterfly, so to speak, right? And then you have the cannon there just as a very effective, cheap cost defensive structure that could keep doing DPS while you're running these cards around. Nowadays, guess what? Goblin's not in meta, Spear Goblin's not in meta, Archers are not in the meta, Cannon is not in the meta. Hog Cycle really isn't a thing. So I actually think the current meta decks are not well equipped to handle P.E.K.K.A. Double Prince.
P.E.K.K.A.'s definitely coming back just in the last few days because P.E.K.K.A. matches up well against Giant, matches up well against Bowler, doesn't get knocked back at all. And actually, people are playing Princes now to counter Bowler and Giant decks, and the P.E.K.K.A. matches up really well against
Yeah.
it. So I bet you both ESLYO and Darth Jar made it this far on the back of beating up all those Giant Bowler decks that we've been watching in some of the earlier rounds.
I bet they imagine they would never have a double P.E.K.K.A. versus P.E.K.K.A. battle here. I bet they'd never run into that. They wouldn't think they would actually battle almost similar to the same deck.
Yeah,
it's almost the same. It's almost a mirror match.
I'm interested to see how the Lumberjack plays into this because freeze used to be a big element of the OP deck because freeze allowed your huge push to just do infinite damage. Well, rage sort of works as an inverse of that, right? It's going to speed up your side of the battlefield, and perhaps might be the deciding factor.
Interesting RNG there. ESLYO had the elixir in the opening hand. Darth Jar Jar was +1 for it. He had to cycle 1. So now he's actually 3 elixir down on this double push.
Double. Good.
Nice.
Wow, it's a good freeze there, and I think it allows the Princess probably just to trade.
Nice.
That Prince is not going to hit a tower. So
No, it's not.
They're pretty much back at even, right? I actually don't even think ESLYO needed to play that Ice Wizard. Oh, no! Big help for Darth Jar Jar there. He didn't need to play it at all.
The health points of the Ice Wizard was nerfed. What is this? Super tough.
That was so low, though. I mean, he had literally like a health left.
Yeah, the fly could have landed on him and it would have died.
Yeah.
The only hit point that matters is the last one.
Yep. Talk about the Musketeers' strength, right?
And now it's a joust.
Oh, that's
What is
unfair.
that?
That was cheating.
The suspense is killing me. Every time those princes charge down the lane, it's like a game of chicken. Like, who's going to throw them? I was expecting Darth Jar Jar to run Ice Spirit out there.
Yeah, to soak up the charge damage.
Yeah. The one thing that I think will be really interesting is whenever one of these two players commits to a double Prince push, does the other one drop the P.E.K.K.A. in front of their tower? Because that's really like if these they're split pushing with it, but both Princes 9 elixir in a single lane, a defensive P.E.K.K.A. kills both of them.
Yes.
For a +2 advantage and survives with a little bit of health.
Oh, gets damage on the tower.
It's a good zap to stop this charge.
Yeah.
But
Still
in general,
do that
he doesn't do too much damage.
That's what I'd like to see to log.
1.8K, 1.7. So what's interesting here too, just as a side note, is where's Bacalol? Now that I'm watching this.
I don't think she think Bacalol played this week. I think he missed it.
Yeah. I think because that split pushing Princes reminds me of
Yeah, of course.
Bacalol. All right.
Peek on Pika
here
action.
it comes. they're trying to mirror each other, but one has an Ice Wizard, one has a Princess. We are really going back in time.
Yes.
I think this is where we're going to see that Lumberjack come out. You can see Darth Jar Jar building up the world's biggest push, and the last thing to come out is the Lumberjack. And actually, that Prince placement's going to kill the Lumberjack early.
Which is good, because then it's
I don't even know what's going on.
Oh,
Yeah, it's all caught up in there.
Pekka in the
Oh,
back.
wow!
Pekka in the back.
But if your Pekka survived,
The New Age freeze! The OP deck
and it does
is
hit.
real.
Now, these guards are going to tie him up, but of course, the Dark Prince will come in shortly after and finish the job.
Now, interesting.
Uh-oh. He's probably going to...
Last Pekka wins, I think. This Ice Wizard has taken a good 24 shots, it feels like,
So,
over the last minute or so.
Actually, the big difference is Darth Jar Jar does not have guards. So one of the big things that stopped that push was that Pekka had to push through guards, which absolutely terrible. Guards were just as effective.
There's
as
the
Barbarian.
poison. One hit. Just one hit. Just one hit.
God!
That Ice Wiz is
Wow.
doing... Oh, that's...
That Ice Wizard has earned MVP of the world. Like, that Ice Wizard, that's exact 3 Elixir Ice Wizard. I have to go back and count, probably shot 30 times.
All right. Question for you guys here. Between the two decks, all right, there are two... I'm going to throw out two kind of clickbaity statements here. Princess, weaker legendary than Ice Wizard. Lumberjack, not as OP as people say, because evidently, look at these decks.
Oh.
ESL Yo didn't use the Princess and didn't use the Lumberjack and was the one that won that situation.
I mean, I think that might have just been a matchup thing. I think guards are significantly worse this week than they were last week, but for all the reasons that people played the Pekka and the Princes to fight the bowlers, to fight the Lumberjacks, to fight the things that were good against guards, guards is good against that deck,
Yes.
right? So it's like, it kind of came back around, and whoever kept guards in their deck would have been very well positioned against the Pekka Double Prince deck. Darth Jar Jar opts to stick with it for round 2. So again, if this is your first time watching the Super Magical Cup, it's worth mentioning all of our players have to register 2 decks each. Each round, going back to round 1 all the way through the finals, is best of 3, where you have to win with both your decks. So if you win, you have to switch out to your other deck. ESL Yo wins a game with the Pekka Double Prince deck, must switch to his second deck, which is the first time we've seen it, Giant Balloon.
Yeah.
There's a deck that we haven't seen a lot of in
coming
tournament
back.
play recently. I mean, I think when the tournament format first came out, people were really high on Giant Balloon because of its ability to 3-crown. It was pretty fast deck, pretty easy to play.
Was it Errol that used to run it with a level 3
Yeah,
balloon?
Interlol actually won. Yeah, you're right. A Super Magical Cup on the back of Giant Balloon. So we're going to see how it does well. The very heavy ground play of Darth Jar Jar might not go very well against the Giant Balloon. But on the other hand, what is the Giant Balloon deck going to do to stop these insane 3-crown pushes
Yeah,
of
you talk
Darth Jar
about
Jar?
a deck that can one-shot. OP deck is the one deck that really pushed through for a 3-crown.
It almost has a setup for a 3-crown race here.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I think, every single time, especially in Season 1, Rumham and I talked about it a lot, there are things, there are kind of meta ideas and gameplay ideas like calling bluffs and like pushing all in and these things that players needed to work on a lot. I think they've gotten better, but one of the things I think players still need to investigate when to go for the 3-crown. I think that's something that players are still kind of not too comfortable with. The game for a long time has always been 1-0 victories, 1-0 or even 2-1s.
And really aggressive out of that. ESL Yo had the combo in his opening hand. As soon as Darth Jar Jar drops down the Elixir Collector, goes, I know you only have 5 Elixir, right?
Yep.
And going in on it. The Giant goes down, but the Giant's really not the point in the first place, right? The Giant is the...
That tower might be done.
Yeah, I think 3 shots and it's
Oh!
And Princess doesn't get enough, and the slow King Tower might hit the Elixir Collector too. It
Oh!
does! The King Tower takes about 3 to 5 seconds to actually kind of gear up, get his cannon going, and in that time, the very low health balloon was able to get over there and take out 4 elixir worth of storage. That puts Darth Jar Jar very far behind with only, 45 seconds into the game?
You just got looned.
Wow.
You just got looned. All right, Darth Jar Jar. Now you know what you're up against.
Not a single card in Darth Jar Jar's deck is like the... What do they have? The, counter cards, right?
Yes.
Counter tower. These are things that would be good to counter these balloons with. You have none of them.
Sorry, bro. All right, Pekka, Dark Prince. He's
Gonna play
matching.
Giant to counter Pekka. That's a new one. I don't know if... I don't like playing the Giant that lane. I think, speaking, we were talking about the 3-crown stuff. Might have been better to do that.
All right, Giant pushing through, makes its way across the bridge, but already at incredibly low health. The Ice Wizard is trying to slow down the Pekka and the Prince, but really that Rage is kind of canceling out that effect. Now finally does the Rage expire, and Ice Wizard is staying strong, but it's about to... Ooh, nice. I like that.
And those guards are just showing up for ESLYO. Plays them in both lists, so that's your 2 decks have to be at least 4 card different. And ESLYO, even though we talked earlier about how we weren't super confident in guards this week, ESLYO maintained his confidence and is playing guards in both lists.
Yeah. And really, honestly, right now, all ESLYO has to do, I mean, he can forever use his giant as a hit point buffer because he does not need to take down a single tower.
You're right. Maybe that's the plan there. So it's not so much that the giant is like it's a bad matchup against the P.E.K.K.A, but it also buys you a lot of time.
And that's all ESLYO needs to do right now.
Along with the Ice Wiz to slow everything down,
Look
it's
at this
gonna
push. Oh my god.
The second giant. And how, this is a question. How are you going to kill the mini P.E.K.K.A? How are you going to kill the Ice Wizard? The Lumberjack gets in and does a lot of work. Look at how fast he's pumping them axes.
and then you got the barbs here too.
Barbs are going to get one hit by both the P.E.K.K.A and the Prince there.
Yeah, but
God,
he still
double
has
Ice
guards.
Wizard. Go away.
He still has guards.
Wow. This really shows the value of towers in Clash Royale. Towers are the best troop in the game, right?
Yeah.
They cost you 0.
Yeah.
They do like 100 plus DPS, and they fire infinitely.
Yeah.
So all ESLYO is doing at this point is just using, the double Ice Wizard, the guards, trying to buy as much time, and really extracting as much free elixir out of his towers as possible.
And did it successfully. ESLYO 2-0. Goodbye, Darth Jar Jar.
A convincing 2-0 win for ESLYO, who advances to his second top 4. This might be the week for ESLYO.
Let's go.
He's
take one
really
down.
going to make the money. He's really going to make the money.
Match preview back up. Oops.
Do you guys remember this conversation where before this tournament we were betting on our tournament gems, our gems in our accounts, right? That's
Ooh, man, I blanked on that one.
no, guys.
All right, well, let's jump to the top of the bracket here and take a look at A-Chan versus Backstab. A-Chan, who top 4'd in the past on the back of his Trifecta deck, is still running the Trifecta deck. I like that he's sticking with the things that he's familiar with. Ice Spirit goes great in this list. I mean,
The Trifecta.
Yep, classic meta deck. And then Backstab is running what I guess we would call the new meta, right? The giant bowler poison deck, trying to incorporate Lumberjack in replacing Mini P.E.K.K.A there. Pretty cool list. What do you think is going to go on here?
Yeah, it's interesting. Clark Kent, actually, before we started the stream, Clark Kent talked about how he played a very early version of the Trifecta deck. And he talked about how he used Freeze, like the actual 4-cost freeze spell. Well, the New Age Freeze really is the Ice Spirit, and it's just interesting to me how close you got that deck to this particular list. How do you feel about Trifecta?
How do I feel? I mean, it's a strong deck. It counters almost anything if you can play it right. I mean, there's people that can play it, and there's people that can really play it. And, I mean, it's one of those things you have to master. But I mean, it's really strong. Really does a lot of damage if it lets get through. But it's also kind of weak to certain things. I'm just interested to see how the bowler
should. I've heard that bowler destroys Trifecta, but I've never seen it, especially in like a high level of play between 2 high level players. So I'd like to see if A-Chan is going to be good enough to like split push and get around the bowler, or if that card is just like such a hard counter.
I don't know how he's going to distract the bowler. Is he going to distract the bowler with the Valkyrie and then aim it with the Musketeer? I just
The Ice Spirit could be very valuable. Well, I'm sorry, Ice Spirit. Yeah, Ice Spirit. A-Chan's Ice Spirit could be super valuable here because if you can freeze the bowler for 2 seconds, the Musketeer and Valkyrie can do quite a bit of damage to it.
Right off the bat.
Nope.
No questions asked for Backstab. I will poison that.
Yeah, every single time.
That's always kind of risky. Just because you never know. You never know what else they have a card to have behind there.
I think what would be cool to see the Trifecta deck evolve into is I actually think that you could replace Hog with Lumberjack. Because a lot of people have tried to play Mini P.E.K.K.A in the Hog spot, but it turns out Mini P.E.K.K.A is just not very good on offense, gets distracted a little too much. But Lumberjack has the speed of a Hog Rider, and it attacks so fast that things like Skeletons doesn't completely ruin your push, right?
And really, honestly, if you were to look into your heart and say, my Hog Rider does a lot of damage, you're lying to yourself, right? The Hog Rider is really what gets defended, and then the Musketeer is what does the damage.
Sure. And Hog Rider, Hog Rider is not a huge damage source. He gets like one swingy in.
Yeah. All right.
Good distraction, but that Lumberjack's not getting
Straight
distracted.
Lumberjack.
And look how much damage this is going to be.
No,
Oh!
and the Ice Spear. Look at him hack. Goom, goom, and it's still targeted on the giant.
Oh, that was well played.
Great defense.
That could have been terrible.
Yeah, that could have been much worse.
A-Chan really knew what he was doing there by killing the Lumberjack just as the giant died as well, so the giant didn't really get any benefit off of the rage.
Yeah, really talking about Trifecta and how precise you have to be. Again, second collector, second poison, but now HN is clean away with this one.
Yeah, Backstab's not letting him get any sort of Clixer down over there. It's going to be an instant poison.
Interesting that HN does not reciprocate the philosophy.
Yeah. Oh.
Ooh. I actually sort of like this placement here because the Hog Rider's so fast he can keep getting his shots in, and it allows the poison to do some damage. It's not a ton, but it helps.
Hey,
3 swings on the Hog and the poison, but the question is that bowler's still walking around, right?
Took about a third of the health off, though. If you consider that the pumps came off, the tower damage came down. I mean, Achan's ahead right now. It may not feel like it.
This is a huge push.
Yeah. I mean, the question we ask is, how do you kill that bowler? And
how do you kill the...
Yeah. You know?
Wow, this is looking real bad.
Oh, no.
Man.
That is a counter push if I've ever seen one.
And he drops the pump right after. Achan could probably counterattack right now if he wanted to because the pump came down, but Backstab being able to get out the double pumps allowed him to use that elixir advantage in a very effective way.
And now the tower's down, Backstab can just play defense and
the whole trifecta's getting rolled.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Great Ice Spirit.
Ooh, yeah, it holds the the Hog Rider right in place.
Yeah.
And that's all she wrote right there. That's...
It's
yeah,
so
20
hard
seconds
to come back
left.
from this.
I think it's much more likely that Achan 3 crowns than it is. I'm sorry, that Backstab 3 crowns than Achan takes the tower.
Yeah. Good counter push from Backstab, and still not matching Darth Jar Jar's counter push.
But we're gonna go to round 2 or game 2 of this match, and now Backstab cannot play his giant bowler deck anymore. It's really key what the second deck is because let's say that he has another bowler deck. Well, Achan has to win 2 games each with it. If his trifecta deck can't get through whatever the second deck is,
he's not gonna win. He's not gonna win.
Let's take a look. So Backstab wins game 1. We're gonna find game 2 of this series here. There it is.
Let's see. Ooh, spicy. That's a spicy. Now it's a giant lumberjack combination without the bowler.
That's a good point. So he opted to keep. It looks like pump. Poison, or no, Achan didn't have poison. I'm sorry, Achan was playing the trifecta deck last time, so Backstab had to retain, Ice Spirit, Zap, Poison,
Lumberjack,
yeah. And then the other 4 cards have changed. Achan is keeping Pump, Zap, Poison, Musketeer between the 2 lists.
It's interesting, I feel like with the advent of the Lumberjack, big body decks just to take advantage of the rage and to take advantage of the fact that a Lumberjack is great at chopping away big pushes. Big bodies seem to be coming back. We got Giant, we got Golem, we got Lava Hound.
I really like that Lava Hound is coming back because of these giant bowler decks being so ground focused.
Yes.
A lot of them just skimp on their air defense, and then real quickly you find a Lava Hound flying over and you don't have an answer to it.
I mean, we saw ESLEO's giant balloon deck just absolutely destroy. How do you stop the balloon? There was a princess? Question mark.
Ice Spirit.
Very little. It's almost like if you play Musketeer, you're in good shape. If you don't play Musketeer,
good luck. Yeah. Watch out. All right, Ice Spirit. Look at him.
He started to keep away right off the bat with the poison.
Yeah, Backstab definitely has that in his playbook as always worth it to him.
Yes. And why not? For 1 elixir, chip an extra 100 damage with that Ice Spirit.
Yeah. 1 elixir cards are so strong. They're actually so strong.
Right off the bat, going with... Ooh.
Okay, so we're going to see what this giant push is going to develop. He only has the Musketeer and Guards to follow it up with. The Lumberjack is 1 card further back, and it looks like he wants to do Guards and Lumberjack. Oh, changes his mind, though, once those minions hit.
Good poison.
Oh, misses the Inferno Tower, though.
Lumberjack, Ice Spirit will freeze them up, but that Lumberjack is already a primed rage spot ready to drop.
Oh, that Lumberjack is going to do some damage.
Oh, my God. Lumberjack. And killing him first doesn't really help because the rage makes the giant do even more.
I'm a Lumberjack and I'm okay.
Great, though. Achan was able to get out double Princess during that whole melee, during that whole push that will cycle back to Princesses. And stacking up Princesses, great way to win games.
Oh, right? It's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It's very easy for 2 Princesses that just stick on your side of the board to generate far more than their cost.
Yeah.
Value.
Absolutely.
It kind of seemed like a distraction.
Yeah.
Lava Hound.
I mean, that's a great way to counter that Princess, right? Of course, is to make it shoot on something that has so much hit points that her low DPS is kind of irrelevant. Yeah. I think that was a little early for that poison right there.
Here it comes. Yeah, this is going to hurt. Oh,
it might go down.
Nice.
It might turn off before the pups die. No, it didn't. No. Okay. Actually, perfectly timed, Achan. I'm dumb.
So, it's interesting. HN played the princess. The response was a lava hound. So technically, the only elixir that HN invested into defending the lava hound was a poison and a zap, right?
Yeah.
And that really cleaned up the pups in the
And the musketeer.
Yeah, right, and the musketeer, but the musketeer is traded with a miner.
Sure.
Kind of.
Oh, I
right,
see what
so-
you're saying.
Making him poison the other tower.
One more shot. No, Lumberjack shoots.
Oh!
She gets it off.
Too
Good
late,
to know.
buddy.
Lumberjack will kill your princess pretty quick.
Yeah.
But not before she gets 2 shots off.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well played, says
So
Backstab.
Backstab's looking to tie it up. He's got 40 seconds to take this tower and tie it up.
Yeah, I think he's gonna take this tower. Lava Hound Miner is just such an inevitable deck, right?
And it was definitely an early play for that poison because he had to take out the minions. So
Yeah.
now this time those lava pups might really get out of control. Oh, yeah, it goes off.
And then the rage of the tower.
It's actually Achan's rage.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Oh, rage of the tower though. You're
Yeah.
right. You're right. Okay, rage of the tower, not the pups.
Yeah. Look at the Lumberjack run. Man, he looks like
He's a fast one.
he's
Mr.
from
Grinch.
some kind of action movie.
Oh, look at him eat up the guards though. Good.
All right,
10
here
seconds
comes
left.
what I expect to be a. Oh, okay. That
Oh, I actually
nice
like that
aggressive
Lumberjack
drop.
there. Oh, and the good
Oh,
zap
good
there.
zap. This
Oh,
this might be all she wrote.
I don't
No,
know.
Oh no! Look at it. It's a race. It's a race.
Overtime.
The
Oh,
zap.
my God.
Oh!
Achan pulls it off.
Oh my
Great
god.
game! Wow, who would have thought that came down? I mean, we kind of mentioned it in the preview a little bit that this might come down. Like, how are they going to stop each other's
Yeah.
pushes here?
Yeah.
So we're going to game 3 of Achan Backstab. Now both have to play their alternate decks,
And they both know each other's decks. So
Right.
what's left? So
and they probably have been taking notes and stuff playing. So Backstab is playing his Lava Hound deck that just barely fell short of winning and sealing the match. Achan has to revert back to the Trifecta, which is yet to win a game.
Yep.
Now, I think I like Trifecta's chances against this Lava Hound deck 10x more
Yeah.
than
Absolutely, against
than the
Bowler.
Bowler deck, right?
Yeah.
But let's see. There is an Inferno Tower in Backstab's deck, so he does have an answer to Hog, somewhat.
Yeah.
But of course, now Achan finds himself with a cannon, which is pretty good against Lava Hound.
Yeah.
You can pull the Lava Hound to the middle where both towers shoot it, and it's, Lava Hound doesn't really do that much damage to towers, so
Yeah.
the cannon can tank it for quite a long time.
You really control a pup expansion too. If the Lava Hound dies around where the cannon was, they don't automatically tag onto what your tower is, and you can really distract the pups in a good way.
yeah, as long as all the pups don't get onto your tower,
Yeah.
I mean it's fairly manageable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think a lot of people that drives a lot of people away from Lava Hound is that it's one of the few tanks in the game that can just totally flub it for you. Like if you don't support the push, a single Lava Hound is not worth 7 elixir. It
No, it's
needs
not.
some sort of force multiplier of the other cards in the game.
On the other hand, I
Poison?
think Achan's yeah.
Thinking about it?
Hello?
No.
Maybe you can wait a little bit too, because
I
you
think
actually
he
don't have to
already
poison in the first like 10 seconds to get the full value.
Oh,
out.
this
Ooh.
push.
Okay. So,
I feel like they might have been in the wrong order.
Yeah.
Valk was
you
supposed to be
usually want
first.
the Valkyrie to
Yeah.
get pushed and tank for the.
But still,
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie can do a lot of damage to a tower.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing about the Valkyrie is a slow walk speed. So ideally, you want to assist, allow the Valkyrie's health to come into play, and then augment the move speed by having the Hawk Rider push it.
It's no miner, but here comes Lumberjack in to support. He's going to do the same thing, right? Be fast enough to get close to the tower and
Oh,
take
it's
the
not
tower's
bad.
aggro so that the pumps or the
Yeah.
pups can get in there and start attacking stuff. And of course, the rage is there for the pumps, and the miner comes in after. Those pups are attacking pretty fast. That
Oh.
Valkyrie is donezo. Not even going to get close
Not
to the
even
tower.
close.
Yeah, and that collector got chipped down quite a bit.
Time to reboot. Here it goes again. Like it's.
We start
Backstab
over
is
right from where
already
we
hovering
were.
the poison. You can see that the card is highlighted. Backstab knew that the next play for HM was going to be the collector. He's
Yes.
just sitting and waiting for it.
I think the question though is that like when you're both starting towards 10, Achan's playing Pump and then Backstab's playing Lava Hound. Because he's waiting, I mean now it's a little off, but when they were playing them at the same time, that was really better for Backstab because you can't run in when you just played the Collector. I think with the Pump down now, if Achan's smart with his cards, he may be able to really punish the Lava Hound play. But since Hog and Musketeer just went down, here it comes thinking about it. Pump's gonna go down.
Oh, he played it
no.
early. He played it
Oh
up.
no, the timing was such that
Timing
HM
was
still-
bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
really
way
hurts.
worse for Achan than it was.
Yeah.
for-
Yeah.
This
And
really hurts.
oh, he's got a counter.
I think
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that the cannon came down just a little too late because obviously it's not going to do anything. It's not
Yeah.
going to shoot anything.
Yeah. The poison is great, but miner's coming. He still
And that-
has a miner in the pocket and a
And
poison.
here it comes.
Zap.
Poison's too slow, unfortunately. Like, see, the pups are going to come
Yeah.
out and they're outside the poison already. Although the
Yeah.
cannon is tanking a little bit of health. That's pretty
Yes, but
But look how much
look how much damage this is doing right now.
And the poison's very relevant there because
Yeah.
I believe each lava pup gets 2 hit, maybe 3 hit. But when the tower's attacking slower and there's 6 targets, you really maximize that slow attack speed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Backstab's pretty much 1 poison away, or a couple minor hits.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Guess
The Valkyrie's a
wrong.
little slow, unfortunately, so he doesn't even need to use the poison. He can save the poison for defense.
Mm-hmm.
And we are about 14 seconds away from Backstab advancing to his 2nd consecutive top 4 appearance. Very impressive.
That's hard to do.
That's
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah. Interesting, after I watch this game, after I watch HM play Trifecta, I really honestly believe it's time for Trifecta to have a modification.
It needs
I
to
mean,
evolve a little bit.
Yeah, I think for a long time Trifecta was able to hold its own, but right now I just don't think it quite has the tools to deal with things that are popular in the meta. So I think that there needs to be some kind of adjustment to be made.
Oops.
No, select the winner.
Got him, Jim. We're trying to do challenge as well.
Yes.
How do I
Submit?
say that you won? Oh, select the winner.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
There it is. There we go.
Boink, we got him. All right, Backstab advances to the top 4.
Backstab.
Doink,
So,
Doink.
I didn't. Did you guys make predictions for who you think will win the whole thing?
I mean, I would have said Darth Jar Jar, so I can't, I already, I'll be honest and be that I'm a big dummy dum-dum and got it wrong.
Yeah.
I would say Visitors, man. Visitors is always strong.
Wizard.
In any tournament I've seen him, he's done really well.
Yeah. Interesting.
So let's move on to the 3rd of our top 8 matches. We've got Quentin versus Marcel P. Marcel P top 8'd last week. Quentin just upset Clyde, a former winner. We've got pretty competitive players here. What are these decks looking like? Ooh, Quentin's got a weird one.
We've
Yeah.
got Hog Tesla.
Is that a Hog Cycle deck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a Hog Cycle deck running the old Fireball. Fireball
Finish with
just
minor.
looks like
I gotta update the board.
it's such a weird spell to see on the card set because I feel like Fireball is such an old school, like in an old school time,
Yeah.
old school meta when Poison wasn't popular. And Hog Poison is super popular now, so seeing that Fireball just feels like, man, he's really taking
He's
it back.
opting for the quick damage instead of
Yeah.
the overtime delayed. He wants
Sure.
the instant death instead of
Mm-hmm.
delayed overtime, which can damage the Hog. So
Sure. Let's
Yeah.
see, the minor Inferno controls, again, super popular archetype. Good luck getting to that Inferno Tower. It's kind of hard to say what's going to go because I don't see, okay, so theoretically, Quentin can cycle Hogs faster than Marcel can cycle Inferno Towers.
Yeah.
And the Inferno Tower costs more, so right
Yeah.
away the Hog has a
Yeah.
little bit of advantage. But I don't know because the Hog doesn't break through it. It's not like a cannon, right?
Yeah.
Where you actually kill it and they trade each other. The
Yeah.
Inferno Tower can kill the Hog and survive with half of its health left, which allows you to get back to the next
So
one.
the thing that I like about Quentin's deck over the Trifecta that Achan was running against the Inferno Tower is that Quentin has the minions, also has Zap plus Ice Spirits, also has a Fireball for instant health reduction on the Inferno Tower. So he has a lot of different options if he identifies the correct line of play. He has a lot of different options to kind of handle the Inferno Tower in a decent manner that doesn't result in the Hog Rider killing it, left with a sliver of health, and then dying before it reaches the King Tower or
Sure.
the Crown Tower.
Try and tilt this up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and apply a chroma key to this one, folks, so we can, boink. There we go. Oh.
Oh.
No.
There we go. Sounds good. And let's turn off the other thing. Doink. Hooray.
Yeah.
There we go. So we can follow the top 8 as we're going through. Backstab has advanced to the top 4. ESL has advanced to the top 4. Let's get into game 1 of Quentin Marcel P.
All right, Marcel P. For some reason, it just always holds in my mind. I will forever remember Marcel P's minor defense.
Yes, that was the week that I wasn't here. I was at a wedding. I remember watching the replay later, and I was getting up out of my seat. Marcel P defended something like 5 or 6 minors
Yeah.
in a row in order to win a match to get into the top 8. It was
Very not easy to do. And,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's something that's very difficult. I
That-
think that's not the end-all be-all of playing against minor decks, but that is impressive.
That's
weird opening with that Tesla Tower because it's very reasonable that Tesla Tower goes all 30, 40 seconds of its life and
Yeah.
doesn't really do much. Although actually it's gonna fight this Ice Wizard a little bit.
Yeah.
The important thing is, does it stop? Oh, actually, great! Look at that. The 2 seconds really took advantage.
Nice.
I'm
Solid.
wrong. Very wrong. Yeah.
We're gonna fireball
plus
that.
two.
Marcel recognizes it with the well played.
Yes. Well
Yep.
played, sir.
The fireball. Interesting.
I like Fireball. Actually, as good as Minor Poison is, I really like Minor Fireball because when people try to do things like barbs to block or guard or whatever, it's just fun to like Fireball a collector and the whole thing.
Fireball is definitely satisfying. So this is kind of what we talked about. The Ice Wizard assisting kind of helps it out, but Hog plus Goblin plus Zap will really push that Inferno Tower down really quick.
I mean, these minor control decks were built to not ever take damage.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you're thinking, how do I not take damage ever? One of the first things you think about is, well, like Hog Cycle. How do I make sure I never lose to a Hog Cycle deck? So you see Mini P.E.K.K.A, Guards, Ice Wizard, Inferno Tower. I mean, there's so many cards in that deck that match up well against a Hog Rider. Smart move to put the minor far enough away that the Tesla Tower doesn't shoot it.
Yeah. Very good. But, again, using a minor just to hit a tower is kind of...
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that Ice Spirit, though. Smart move to get the Ice Spirit up in there. I mean, even though the Zap comes in a little late and whatever, I think that was over. It was actually cheaper overall for Quentin. He spent 7 to Marcel's 8.
And that's really what Quentin needs to start doing because, as Brumham identified, it's really the cycle that's going to get him the damage. He needs to outcycle the Inferno Tower. There will always be, Marcel P is a good enough player, I posit that there will always be an Inferno Tower ready for the first Hog Rider.
I think what Quentin might want to do is to actually, he's a Hog deck, right? Like, the Hog's not surprising anyone. But maybe you play the Hog behind your King Tower and then follow it up with the Goblins and the Ice Spirits to try and get a second Hog Rider out right after.
Yeah, he committed a lot of elixir. The
Ice Spirit blocked by the Guards.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So there needs to be some kind of... So I think Quentin needs to play in a more kind of controlled style where he makes it so that the Inferno Tower is the only elixir that they can play.
Sure.
And then cycle to the next Hog and play the second Hog when the Inferno Tower
That's
is
what I was
down.
saying with the Hog behind the King Towers. I think that allows him to actually cycle and buy a little time and maybe get 2 Hogs out at the same time.
Yes.
That would probably help.
Fireball?
Yes, he's got a pre-fire.
He could have had a predictive Fireball with Inferno.
Yeah, that's a good point because the Inferno's
He's
coming
cycled
down.
to his Hog, so he's primed right now. He could play another Hog here, and I think.
Go for it now. Yeah, this is a good.
Go for it.
He just spent 7 elixir.
Go.
He's waiting. He waited.
Yeah. I think
Minions
you have
on
to
the
go
left
in.
is protecting the Inferno.
That's
Minions
smart.
on the left right here.
Oh,
nice. And he has to play. So
but
now he's
Zap
open
is
up
out
the left
now.
side. This is important to notice. Hog Cycle can go left side now. Actually, the Inferno Tower is dead, so it doesn't actually matter. Sure. He can go either way.
a lot of damage done there.
Yeah.
Kind of pulled it back in.
This is an interesting situation for a Hog Cycle. Ice Wizard moving down slowly on the right side. You don't want to play your Hog Rider into the Ice Wizard on the right. You could actually play on the left if you want to.
Oh, we caught him without.
Zap, and then the Ice Spirit. Oh, but unfortunately, the Hog Rider went down from that last swing of a Mini P.E.K.K.A.
And oddly, it's an even game.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Step by step.
I think Quentin's done a great job adapting. Like, I did not think from looking at these deck lists that this game would be as close as it is.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Quentin for putting, 2,000 damage, 1,700 damage on that tower despite everything deck list-wise moving against him.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a little too much health on the Inferno Tower left.
This could be all. This is dangerous right here.
Yeah, I think this might be it right here. It only needs 1 or 2 more shots. Marcel P takes game 1.
I think Hog Cycle needs to think about elixir management in a different way. You need to be willing to be less on elixir and then still throw your Hog Rider out on the field. We saw situations when he had that Ice Rider come down the right, even though you're behind on elixir and you just hit 6, you have to play your Hog Rider there because there's not going to be a better time.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to throw a naked hog out there. Sometimes they'll get through, you never know. So, I mean, he's wasting a lot of elixir to keep on going through, and, it's leaving less for defense. And
Sure.
Yeah.
Marcel P, definitely a huge fan. Let's go ahead and put Marcel P up by a single game.
Wait.
Oopsies, wrongies. Oops. I can't unselect.
Cancel.
It's my first time using challenge.
There
we go. Marcel P goes up by 1 game. And Marcel P clearly likes the Inferno Tower because, he's playing it in both lists. This is one of the cards he opted to use in both lists, along with Ice Spirit and Zap and Ice Wizard. So Marcel P is playing the defense game no matter which deck list he's running.
That's interesting because he took out, usually the pump is in that deck. So that's a lot of elixir to put down without a pump. You got
5, 6, 5.
Well, that's actually 5 now because Bowler
right.
went down to 5.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah, so we got 3 5-cost cards, 2 4-cost cards.
So it's kind of like
a little pricey.
In terms of cost, it's very similar to a giant balloon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's very similar to.
So Quentin's gonna ride or die with this hog deck. I would have not believed it before, but he actually plays it very skillfully. That I think it's totally reasonable.
Yeah. And you know, the interesting thing about spectating Hog Cycle decks is it's super easy for the spectator because you can literally see the opponent's elixir.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he's at 0. Why aren't you hog riding right now? But it's crazy, because I'm not a very good hog rider player for that exact reason. Like, I have a hard time being like, no, he's definitely at 0, unless they did something very obvious, like spend 10 elixir within 2 seconds of each other.
And in many ways, like, because once you get into especially double elixir and when they have collectors up, it's not even about, like, I just saw he played this card, now I can punish with a hog rider, because oftentimes 2-cost, 3-cost cards are enough to stop it. You need to know that he wants to play this card at this time, so I'm going to play the hog rider right when he plays that other card, so he doesn't even have time to regenerate his elixir enough to defend.
Yes.
You know?
Split push.
Interesting.
Let's see how at least the bowler's getting distracted towards the middle, but that's a pretty good amount of damage. If that Tesla Tower could have gotten off 2 shots, that would have been huge compared to the 1.
That was a good Ice Spirit.
Yeah. Oh, and even stops the bowl pretty good. So Quentin's getting off to a good start here. Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. I think, unfortunately, if the zap didn't even work, the Ice Spirit, it retargeted back onto the Hog Rider. You'd obviously would rather have it attack.
In that situation, you know, and I think this was a big thing that hurt Quentin in the last match, he pushed too much elixir in the first push.
Sure.
If he just played the Hog Rider and the Goblins and then just held the zap, then he has more elixir to cycle, and then the next time he pushes...
Oh, that was a good zap.
Nice.
Very fast fingers by Marcel there. I thought was going to be...
That was scary. That was scary.
Swing for sure.
Yeah.
Great Goblins there against Ice Wizard. You know, normally Ice Wizard is not a card that you... Whoa, Goblins are getting beat up. But, yeah, Ice Wizard is one of those cards that I don't think you would normally expect to counter something like Goblins, because in your head it's like that's a bad matchup.
It's really about the surround.
And it does so little damage that almost doesn't matter.
I actually like this.
The Naked Hog, see?
I like this. I
like it.
Okay.
Just test it out. I mean, you know, now he's spit the 5 elixir on the Inferno.
It also hurts because he can't support his push as well now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Mini P.E.K.K.A. here is the answer. And then
Fireball.
he needs to find some way to kind of cycle so that he can play Minion Hog Rider to bypass that Inferno Tower.
That poison and that rage is gonna hurt a little bit.
Quentin had a Fireball that I'm surprised he didn't find more ways to use. There was an Ice Wizard, an Ice Spirit, a Lumberjack, and a Giant, all within a pretty clear Fireball radius, and opted not to take that shot.
That bowler's gonna do some damage and pushes it right into the Inferno.
Although
That's
the Ice Spirit went really well.
It's going well. Yeah, it's going real well. And I think, did he get a swing?
Unfortunately, they're not going to do much damage.
He's already cycled to his next Hog Rider, and I think he should play it. I really think he should play his Hog Rider.
Fireball question. That was.
Oh man.
That was I don't know about that.
Well, I think he thought it was going to die.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that I get it in that case, because what can you possibly kill an Ice Wizard with on the opponent's side of the board? Like lightning? Like there's no rocket? Like there's nothing that kills it. So I think if he saw an opening to Fireball that thing for value, you go for it. But look, this Ice Wizard's still alive, still attacking.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a good Tesla.
Unfortunately, actually, you know what? The game's a little closer than I think we're giving it credit for, though. I mean, there's only 600 damage, 650 that separate these two, and a single strong hog push could get through. The question is, like right now, Marcel's really low. Like if Quentin knew, he should be hog riding, right? But he has to spend every elixir that he has on this defense because Lumberjack can just run away with the game.
That's another thing about Hog Cycle is you actually need to be comfortable with playing your Hog Rider in the middle of defending a push.
That's a raged Ice Wiz, which is going to do...
It's all right. Did you see, though, how badly Lumberjack scooshed those goblins? I mean,
yes, that was quick.
Though I think what's going to throw people off for the first couple weeks in the new meta is that people are trying to stop Lumberjack with the same cards that you would stop Mini P.E.K.K.A. with. And they're very different solutions. Like, Knight is very good against Lumberjack, but you would never play Knight against Mini P.E.K.K.A.
No,
Yeah.
never.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
That's a lot of elixir going in right now.
Yes.
He's trying to go.
So Marcel P is playing. He's opting not to play the Inferno Tower because he wants to build a counter push. He's playing units that he can convert, elixir that he can convert onto the other side of the map, and that's why he's not using the Inferno Tower now.
I think he went for a push just to win it, and unfortunately, he gets bowled over.
Yep. Yeah, I think the story of that match was that Quentin, while being a very skilled Hog Rider player, just how does a Hog Rider deck break through the Inferno Tower and all of the associated defensive cards with it?
Currently in Clash Royale, the philosophy for playing the game is always, and for good reason, play my defense first, then play my offense. In many situations, I truly believe that Hog Cycle needs to be very comfortable with playing your defense playing your Hog Rider in the middle of the defense and understanding, okay, the timing, the elixir, what cards will actually benefit me in terms of mitigating damage. When can I really punch the opponent? Do I want to trade some elixir health if I believe my Hog Rider is going to get 3, 4, 5 swings? That might even up the situation, you know?
What stands out in this matchup?
Baby Dragon! Baby Dragon!
Not only that, what level is it?
Oh, it's a level
Oh my
Baby
god!
Dragon!
And his guards are level 3 too.
Shreddy Wop. So Shreddy Wop must be a very skilled player to make it this far.
And his poison's also level 3 too.
Oh my god.
He's Interlol. A second coming of Interlol. He's not afraid.
What is the common thing is that they're all
They're the hardest card. You know what? We're going to go ahead and put Baby... We don't get to put Baby Dragon up on the screen
I'm
very
surprised
often.
we even have that card.
I made these a long time ago, yes. I'll keep Bowler up there for Vizard. So, okay, so Vizard running a Giant Bowler, the Giant Bowler Poison, kind of the new meta deck that we've been seeing a whole lot of. It's an evolution of the last Giant Poison deck involving Bowler instead of, Prince, which has been pretty common. Shreddy Wop, I like that he's got the Lava Miner combo that did so well for Clyde in the games that we watched, but also Baby Dragon kind of functions as a second miner in this case. It's very fast, you play it at the river, it gets up into the tower range quickly. It clears out archers, spear goblins, minions, all sorts of dumb shit, dumb cards that would be there blocking your Lava Hound. And it tanks pretty well. Once the Lava Hound blows up, it can tank for the Lava Puff, so it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, plus, Shreddy has a lot of air.
Yeah.
And what does Vizard have to guard against there?
That's actually a really good point. He's got Ice Wizard, Ice Spirit, and then what was that? Poison?
Yeah, that's ugly looking.
But then to the other point, he's got a lot of heavy ground units, and then what's...
Baby Dragon's not really known for his DPS.
Well, he wasn't known for his DPS, but he got a pretty significant, or is it she? She got a pretty significant DPS boost. It was about, I want to say like a 12 or 13% DPS boost. That's pretty reasonable for a card that was fringe playable. It's not, Baby Dragon wasn't terrible. It's just that Musketeer's really popular.
Yeah.
That's your hard counter, right?
Yeah. All right, they're going head to head.
Exciting, fast matchup here.
What I assume the plan here is that Vizard wants his Giant Bowler push to go down the lane of the Lava Hound to prevent any of the Lava Hound support to come down the same lane. You use the Bowler to keep like Lumberjacks, whatever, anything, Knights, Barbs, whatever would be coming down the lane.
That mini Pega might not even reach.
Yeah,
He's... Oh... Keep on pushing the mini Pega back and back and back and back. Let the Giant get a few hits in.
Baby Dragon, though, matches up pretty well with the with the Bowler, right? Like, the Bowler is doing a little too much damage there, but Baby Dragon is also not taking any. It doesn't get knocked back because it never gets targeted.
Yeah.
But then on the second hand, he also put on a good, damage on the other side with the counter push.
Yeah,
1.6
to 1.3.
Smart move by Vizard to use the poison there. He hit both the miner and all the pups, which I think really added up.
Yeah. I agree. Now the Lava Hound moves across. There's no Giant to trade right now, so...
Oh,
God,
that is some bold moves right there. I don't think I would have ever in a million years pumped in that situation.
Yeah.
I like the Ice Spirit with the knockback because you get to knock him back twice.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Mini P.E.K.K.A. Beat it.
The thing is, he's not worrying about the Lava Hound itself, because the Lava Hound itself is not going to do much damage, so...
All the damage of one Spear Goblin.
The miner. Play the miner.
Here, and there's it locked on. The Baby Dragon, I think, is now being targeted as you want, but between the Zap and the Poison, and the Ice Wizard, the pups were just gone already.
Yeah.
Still, though, Shreddy Wop's ahead.
Yeah, just pretty much cut it in half to what it was before, so...
So that was a trade for the Collector, basically.
But yeah, he basically was willing to take a little bit of damage to get that Collector out.
Was it worth it? We'll see.
Hope so.
We will see. Guard gets 1 poke, 2 pokes.
I'm really excited, though, that a player with 3 underleveled cards is able to make it here. I think that shows how much that card levels don't matter nearly as much as people make them out to be, and honestly, skill and using your cards in the right way really matter.
That's interesting.
Great.
I think Shreddy might take this tower.
Oh, wow, because the Lumberjack comes in, cleans up the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, the poison was actually committed.
But this might be a tower trade here. Oh,
Tower trade. Wow. Well played.
Not a trade,
Nope,
though.
not a trade.
The Ice Wizard has...
Now it's a trade.
Now it's a trade.
All right.
That situation just went.
Yeah. Now.
But big disadvantage for Shreddy Wop having to cast the... Oh, it didn't even take it because there's 18 left.
He's going to have to waste the Zap.
And having to spend that 6 elixir there, Vizard was able to take advantage and
look at this tower.
Wow, and just like that, no way! Vizard took a tower in the last, few seconds of the game? Because he knew that his opponent has to drop 6. That's effectively like he only has 4 elixir for defense, so just going right in.
So
Giant lumberjack, go in, yeah.
It's kind of that whole thing where it's like,
One goes to
you're
Vizard.
actually... So, Rebham, you mentioned at the start of the stream about Lava Hounds being able to somehow push past, like, a Giant Bowler deck and get the 3 crown quicker than a Giant Bowler can. But in this case, I think the fact that Vizard did not put anything onto the Lava Hound in terms of damage means it dies slower, means the damage happens slower, means that Vizard gained that little bit of extra time.
He almost allowed it to happen, right?
Yeah.
He was like, you know what? Like, in terms of tempo, once we hit overtime, first tower goes down.
Yeah.
I would rather make my moves towards the second tower than just, like, overly waste time defending this tower that's probably not defensible in the first place.
It was a great strategy.
Awesome. All right, well, let's move on. Shreddy Wop. Sticking with the Lava Hound Baby Dragon deck, so we get a second shot at this beautiful beast of a deck. Vizard rolling with a 3 Musketeer deck running Zap and Log, Miner and Knight. What do you think about this one, Clark Kent?
That one is just, it's beyond me. It's actually kind of smart. You got a couple tanks for, split push of the 3 Musketeers, and everything else is cheap cycle. So, I mean, without a pump to get to the 3 Musketeers, got to have a cheap cycle, so you keep on pumping them out. So, it's going to be an interesting play, but I mean, he matches really well with Nair deck, so...
What stands out to me is the redundancy. There's so many duplicate cards, like Zap and Log are kind of the same card, right? 2 elixir spells to push this, repel decent pushes. Knight and Miner are kind of the same card. Ice Wizard and Ice Spirit are kind of the same card, right? Like cheap, effective defense. It seems like Vizard really wants to focus on splitting the 3 Musketeers, and then he just goes like, I need cheap tanks in front of him, I need some combat tricks and spells, and I need a little bit of slows, right? Freezes and slows. And the 3 Musketeers will take care of every other thing for me.
Let's see. Let's see what happens. I'm still not convinced. I feel like every time we saw the baby dragon, it was getting dumped. So, I want to see.
I think if we thought Baby Dragon was bad against 1 Musketeer, 3 Musketeers is like probably 3 times as bad, right?
Yeah.
I'm no mathematician. But it's going to be hard, especially because he can split them, so you don't even have the option, for example, of putting the Baby Dragon in the other lane to have dodged the Musketeer.
Right off the bat, heavy. And then right off the bat.
However, if they're focusing on that, the minion... Nope, psych. The minion's actually doing some pretty good damage there. But, yeah, cool. And even then, that push on the other side's good. That left side push is scary.
Yeah, that Knight's going to do some damage.
Yeah. People really underrate the Knight. The Knight is sort of the original Lumberjack, and that he has
it
a
did
really
as much
fast
damage
melee
as the
attack
right
speed.
side push. I mean, 1.580 solo Knight that was not even at max health.
Yeah.
And a full-on Lava Hound push on the right side, the healths are even. Vizard's ahead.
You know, just a week ago, people were saying Lumberjack and Log unplayable, but here we are, Vizard cutting a path through the top 8, or trying to at least, with both of them, and no other. Well, Ice Wizard and Miner. My bad. How about you just play 8 legendaries?
Yeah. So it's a full-on legendary deck. That's what it is.
Yep. Oh, Baby Dragon.
Oh no, that Baby Dragon's gonna live a very short and sad life.
Yeah, poison zap. Is he gonna zap? No, he's got to get to zap.
He has Zap now. I think he can use it. The problem is that they're going to shoot those minions down. Even if he zaps them now, 3 more elixir worth of value just got thrown away.
Yeah.
Might just take it.
He's going to tank the damage.
Oh, no!
Oh.
I think he might have expected, again, the level 3 poison comes in. Each of those probably should have died in 1 tower shot, maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the difference between 1 tower shot and 2 tower shots there is the difference between, 300 damage and 0.
Yeah, and then this opens up so many options for Vizard. He has 2 towers equally damaged, and so he can start split pushing if he wants, push 1 tower. He can do whatever he wants.
That's one of the things we've seen week after week watching these 3 Musketeer decks is how great they are at putting equal amounts of damage on either tower and then really testing the opponent to be like, all right, like, how can you possibly defend both of these low health towers at once?
There's a poison zap. I think that Musketeer got away.
That Lumberjack's gonna take down that tower.
Is
wow.
Oh! God.
That's how.
Swing.
Yeah, that's how fast that Lumberjack takes down. Chopping it down like a tree.
And Miner actually does pretty good work there, taking out the Lava Hound, or Ice Wizard, and then still getting 1 more hit on the tower. But God, nothing can stop those 3 Musketeer plays, and the poison came in just a little too late.
Yeah, and he.
Even like with the Lava Hound holding, oh, that's great log there. Even holding them back, it's just not. You don't want them held back. You just want them off the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was overall well played.
Very well played.
Yeah.
Shreddy I think, put up a good fight and managed to play his decks pretty well, but Vizard once again moves into the top 4 for the second week in a row with 2, I think, pretty innovative decks. I think he's definitely a sharp player playing interesting takes on meta archetypes.
Seeing Vizard now being successful in the bracketed side at the top 8 of the Super Magical Cups, it's becoming more and more apparent to me that it just seems like Vizard is submitting very innovative, strong, solid decks and backing it up by good decision making. And I think good decision making is something that he's always had, but I think he was never really playing decks that he really could succeed with.
You were mastered. Like, I mean, that's something I consider myself a pretty decent player. I'm not excellent, but my biggest weakness in the tournament archetype is that I don't have any one deck list that I've mastered. And that's really what you need both in the bracket format and in the in-app tournament is a 8-card list where you know exactly what to do in every situation. And Vizard seems to have that like supernatural ability just to say like, no, I know exactly what I need to do at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty impressive. He had both his decks have Lumberjack. I mean, you can't really master that in a week?
Yeah, it's only been a few days. You're right.
Yeah. So I mean, he's been timing it well, and it's just he has found the synergy to go with everything. That's just whatever he plays. It's going real well.
Yeah. All right, so we got 4 players left. I'm gonna let each of you pick a player, and then the crowd gets the 4th one, right? We're going to see who wins this. Clark Ken, you're our featured guest. Who? Backstab, Vizard, Marcel P, ESL Yo. Who's your favorite?
I'm going to go with Vizard. I've been really impressed just by watching those last 2 games. Were really, really well played. So I'm going to stick with him.
Cool. I will say ESL Yo because ESL Yo is still, if you guys would realize, one of the names I picked right at the start.
He is. He was one of the names that we called out at the beginning of the game. You had not so much luck last week, but this week you had the foresight. I was going to pick ESL Yo, but since I have to pick someone different, my second choice is definitely Backstab. I think
he's
Backstab,
a solid player.
Solid player. Which means the crowd gets fan favorite Marcel P, the minor defender. Right? Anyone can repel minors. It'll be Marcel P, but will he see anymore?
Marcel P was one of the players that was, when he lost, he was in chat and he was talking about, man, I lost right before the round of 8, remember?
Yeah.
And he was like really, really down on himself for that. This time around, he's made it all the way to the semis, and what an improvement.
All right, we got game 1 here. We'll do Vizard Backstab for game 1.
They're looking pretty similar.
Wow, look at this.
Are these exact?
No, they're real close.
It's guards or Ice Wizard. Where do you fall on this?
Also
debate?
no zap.
No zap either.
Oh no! Oh, I see.
No pump. Oh no, there's pump. There's pump.
There's pump. Pump poisons. What are the cards? Okay, Musketeer, and guards for Backstab. Ice Wizard and Zap for Vizard.
Yeah.
So, actually, they're both the same, so it's even an average of 5 elixir between those 2 cards. So like the cycle's really not any faster.
Yeah.
They are looking in a mirror. So this is going to come down to some pretty interesting counter. Actually, let's try to pick the cards that make them different here. So we're going to see, is Musketeer the important card for Backstab? I think that's pretty reasonable. And then Ice Wizard for Vizard. Yeah. Otherwise, though, their deck is very, very similar. You're right. I gotta update all these cards with the balance update. I'm bad graphic designer. All right,
and
Vizard
people
Backstab.
have been saying that Mirror has been out of the meta. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
I want Mirror to come back, guys. Here's my dream mirror. Here's the mirror I want to see. Copies the unit for 1 more elixir cost, but makes it at +1 level. So that in tournaments you could make level 10 commons, level 8 rares. I think that'd be a really interesting thing because think about how often an over-leveled fireball might be relevant, right?
Yes.
You could start killing wizards and musketeers with it. You'd pay 5, it's not a great elixir trade, but it's situationally very useful.
The interesting thing too is you would have to justify throwing 2 fireballs in a row.
Sure, but there's also the things of like, you fireball collector, then they drop 3 musketeers, then you 5 elixir fireball them.
Heck, even the double rocket at the end.
I mean, think
do 1,000 damage.
Yeah, that's a cool thing that opens up.
I'm gonna start playing Rocket Mirror decks now.
I think it's cool. I like to see it. I'm just saying.
Thanks, Clark Kent.
Anytime.
Oh, look at that Lumberjack go on defense, and I like that.
Lumberjack on Lumberjack action.
Oh, the Ice Spirit jumped on the Giant instead of the Lumberjack. I think this defense would have gone significantly different if the Ice Spirit had killed Vizard's Lumberjack instead of the Giant.
Yeah, absolutely.
A
Well,
Rage
played.
Bowler. Ooh, 2 swings? No,
No.
just the 1.
1.3K, that is a very big
Just
opening.
throwing his rocks around.
Yep.
So neither have Minor, which means that they should both pretty much be able to run away with pumps, except Backstab. He knows what he's doing. Backstab poisons
Yep.
collectors, no questions asked.
If you guys don't remember that play by the end of this broadcast, I'll be just
Up!
Oh!
Mirror match.
No, they see it through.
Oh god.
Vizard, I don't think he realizes that Vizard actually has a pretty decent elixir advantage right now, or at least he had one. He was up by about 4, and I think he chose to spend that 4 on the poison.
Yeah, for the poison.
Yep.
Nope. They're just gonna change. They're gonna do the same
All
thing
right.
right behind each other. Both gonna drop bowler. Nope.
All right.
The Ice Wiz up top. And Ice Wiz has really had a great tournament so far. We've seen him in a lot of different decks, a lot of different situations, just be
Interesting.
kind of unbelievable in terms of defense.
Okay, so Vizard has placed his bowler behind King Tower, which means he is actually going to let Backstab win for a little bit.
Well, I think what he saw was that since they were getting separated, he actually didn't need the bowler up at the river because they would just be hitting each other and not knocking back. He wanted the lumberjack down first because of the high DPS would allow him to kill the enemy giant, and you can see he cycles back to the giant with that bowler.
Yep,
I think that was really smart by Vizard. We talk about
Lines
the
of
exact right thing to do in every situation. That's exactly like, what happens in a mirror match. Oh, I know.
Did
You
it.
win the mirror match by playing the bowler behind the king tower.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
Kind of baited out everything to counter because
oh wow.
Backstab thought, hey, he's gonna do the same thing I'm doing, so we'll just all, exchange the same thing.
Wow, and Vizard is going to pull this out. 15 seconds left in this game.
Giant
Game
bowler
1 of their
is
match.
Slow. It's not going to end in 10 seconds. I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
Vizard
That-
has this in-
Yeah.
It's not a deck that can pull out big come from behind wins.
Yeah.
It really wants
Yeah.
to grind it out and win that 1-0 or 3 something crown win.
GG. Well
Wow.
played.
That was
Vizard.
a well-played game.
But don't forget now, Vizard is all out of giant bowler decks, right?
Yep.
Cannot play it for the next round. However, Backstab still does have the option to play
Yeah.
his giant bowler decks. We're going to
So
move
the
to
question
one game.
is, how does that work against 3 Musketeer Lumberjack?
Bowler is a great counter for 3 Musketeer, I think, just because the residual effect of just rolling over, he's going to hit 2 Musketeers over, add a zap in there, and it's pretty
Yeah.
much game over to at least 2 of the Musketeers.
To me, before this patch, I would not have agreed with you just because the bowler is a 6 elixir investment, and if you split your 3 Musketeers, you still have to worry about the other side. If you're playing 6 on one side, sure, the bowler can handle that lane, but then you can just all in the other lane, right? Now that it's 5 elixir, I think it's much more manageable, and I do think that there's still issues with elixir investment plus split push and how you deal with that.
Sure.
But I think it's much more manageable just because the cost is reduced.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually think that Bowler's still not particularly great against 3 Musketeers because so many of the 3 Musketeer decks are playing Zap, Ice Spirit, like those kind of cards, right? And because Bowler has less hit points, like he actually has like under like 1,500 something, not 1,700. I'll update that. But 1,500 damage can be burned down very quickly under a 2-second freeze from an Ice Spirit. So there's a lot of situations where I think the Musketeers can really burn it down, and then the other players left holding the bag basically of how do I deal with these cards.
Yeah.
But Backstab does have poison,
Yeah.
which is very
key.
useful.
Very key. Poison plus bowler equals dead Musketeer.
All right, so this is game 2. Doink, doink.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie though, Bowler and Lumberjack, the balance update did exactly what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It took 2 cards that were not seen very widely and have made them top tier competitive cards. It's actually great to see that there's 58 cards in the game now. With each passing month, more and more of these cards are finding a place in the meta. Even a month ago, 2 months ago, I would have been like, oh, Expo's terrible. Like, there's so many cards that need a buff, but like we've seen Log, we've seen Lightning, we've seen 3 Musketeers, we've seen Expo. All of these decks come back into the meta. The meta is super healthy right now, and I can't wait to see what happens in future tournament mode changes.
Yeah.
There's the bowler.
Now
The
the
poison of the
Musketeers-
Musketeers! Poison! They're not in it!
Oh no, and they're gonna do a good amount of damage unless Backstab plays a card. Yep.
Oh,
great
dude.
Ice Spirit. I mean, you have to take
Oh.
the 1 or 2 hits from it,
Yeah.
but I think, given how badly it looked at first, Backstab recovered
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah. It was a good defense.
That was well
But
played.
look at the elixir advantage. God.
Yeah, there's a lot of elixir.
Yeah. Collector will not kick in for Backstab until maybe another 20 seconds or so.
But here we go. Look at this. All 3 medium-sized units. Good.
Oh,
Just getting bold. Oh, but see what we were just saying there. The zap.
Yeah.
Any amount of stun really allows that. The bowler.
Yeah.
It's pretty vulnerable if you get up close to it.
Yeah. So
I'm just surprised we haven't seen more princes. Go ahead.
yeah. Currently, Elixir situation.
Well played.
I think Vizard is now. He traded for the Elixir Collector, but he's down on Elixir now.
Yeah.
That was a good log.
Yeah.
He took out the shields off of all the guards and then distract with just an ice spirit.
That was 3 elixir to counter what, a 6 elixir
4,
push? Yeah.
3, yeah.
7.
Oh, guards, you're right. Yeah. 7. I'm sorry. I had in my head they were fire spirits. I like the Knight. Knight might be the most underrated card in the game. You don't hear that many people talk about it. Nobody's ever like, Knight's the hot tech. But Knight's so good in so many matchups. Like, not only is it a cheap way to invest your elixir, it will hit the tower if they don't do anything about it. It's great against Miner. It's great against Musketeers, Valkyries, Lumberjacks, all sorts of stuff.
All inning right side.
All in.
There it is.
There we go. And this, oh my god, this might really hurt, actually.
Lumberjack.
Oh, wow. And the Ice Spirit jumps in and takes them both out.
And guess what? That left side Musketeer did a ton of damage.
Yes.
Oh, 2 bowlers out there.
Uh-oh.
And a lumber. Oh.
This is a really deadly counter push, though. I could easily see this going badly for Vizard.
I actually
Oh,
think
God, cross bowler.
Yeah, cross bowler. This
this is complicated.
is a lot of things going on.
And here comes the Rage Bowlers in.
You had to use the defensive
Oh, the
Miner.
to play Miner defensively. That is always a bad sign for Miner decks when you have to start playing.
There's a
one
lot of
defense.
rage out there. A lot of purple.
Yeah.
This game is pretty much tied, though.
The game
Both
dynamic
towers.
is going to change. Sure, there's 620 health on the right side tower compared to 750, so Backstab can be considered ahead, but 3 Musketeers does enough damage, as does Giant Bowler does enough damage. In overtime, it actually doesn't matter. If you fail your defense, you lose.
I think I might favor the Miner Zap deck at this point because he has a better way to just force that last 400 damage through in a way that
Vizard's just going all in. He
double bowler.
Okay, how are you going to stop double bowler?
Dude, look at the
that!
knockbacks! Oh!
on rage.
Oh no, the Rage Musketeer though is really cleaning up. He's
Musketeer
doing
is getting a good amount of damage, but there's still more big bodies to chew through, and right now Vizard is having to
No.
constantly play Elixir. Where are you going to get your triple Musketeer?
Oh, he doesn't have the ability for he can't save up for it when under pressure like this.
Yep.
One punch.
One punch.
Bowl through.
One bowler.
One more bowl shot.
no.
And plenty of health.
Backstab ties it up.
God. Backstab
Wow.
calls up Vizard and says, "Hey Vizard, you want to go bowling?"
Let's go bowling. Oh my god, the cross bowler and the double bowler was excellent. Like the bowler is such a slow card in a good way. Like it's slow moving. It costs a lot. It's slow moving. It stops moving when it attacks. All of those things really contribute to letting you build up 2 bowlers in the same push, or as we saw, that split push bowler, and
Yeah,
like that.
that was crazy.
So we're going to game 3 in the top 4. The winner of this 3rd game takes it all the way to the finals against the winner of Marcel P and ESL Yo, whoever wins that match.
Let's see. All right, our alternate deck. Oh,
That's right. It's the Lava Miner. Ooh, man, Lava Miner Lumberjack against 3 Musketeers.
Backstab. I am sorry.
Oh, because he's got the lumber. Yeah, that's right. We saw this earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Vizard just beat the Lava Hound up.
Well, let's see though, because Backstab has poison again, right? He's got the zap as well. He's got. I mean, there's Miner. There's ways he can take this. I mean, it's certainly not a favorable matchup.
No, he's gonna have to save up on that. What is it? Poison. Just.
I think he's gonna have to let Vizard be the aggressor. Like I think you're gonna lead Vizard to split the 3 Musketeers. You counter the Musketeers and then play Lava Hound at the river with whatever trash mobs you have left.
You need to get Vizard into that situation he was in the last game where he just could not play the 3 Musketeers because he wanted to immediately respond to the Elixir coming down his lane. And I actually feel like that's something that really, really hurt Vizard. I think that's a situation where you need to lose the battle to win the war. Yeah. Take some damage on your tower, get your 3 Musketeers down, then you have enough DPS to push down the big bodies. Yeah. That's the only way you're going to break out of the cycle. But in the last game, we saw Backstab was able to continually play another bowler, play another giant, play more cards behind it, and then Vizard just never got enough punch in one go to kill it all.
Right off the bat. Poison.
Right.
Oh, this is...
Unfortunately, that Ice Spirit is good as dead. Boink, boink.
Watch out for the right side.
You have missed
2
the one.
Elixir. You have 3 Elixir to defend this right now. How do you defend that? Place your minions?
Oh no! If you notice, he missed the Musketeer with the
Musketeer.
Zap, and that Musketeer is now doing a ton of damage and is not able for Backstab to get his Miner. And if that Musketeer had gone down, Miner could have gotten in there.
Yes.
Yeah. Good Ice Wizard play too. Tanked a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Strong start.
Yeah.
So right away, Vizard takes out, 1,000 hit point lead in those 2 initial exchanges.
Yep. And that's going to make Backstab think twice about his line of play. Yeah. You know, and that's really important. You need to figure out now, if you do the same thing, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And he does open up with it, though, and here comes the 3 Musketeers, though, that deck cycles a bit slower than the Lava Hound deck because he doesn't have as many 2 and 3 cost cards in it. I don't know. The big downside I think I have for Backstab is that he can't really play the I'll lose a tower to take your tower game because Three Musketeers are so good when one tower is down on each side.
It's pretty much impossible to overcome the Three Musketeers once they take down a tower.
They have that Royal Giant trickery.
Yeah.
People thought Royal Giant was good.
Oh, but I like the Miner. It did help block for a little bit, but ultimately the Musketeers zap those cards.
Man, Fire Spirit, Ice Spirit, Log, Ice Spirit, 2 cost plus 1 is just such a great defense.
Yeah. Ice Spirit might, like, you could nerf Ice Spirit, honestly. Like, Ice Spirit's one of the strongest cards in the game right now. Not because it has a big, splashy, massive effect, but it only costs 1, and it's really hard for it to not get value. And even if you just cast it to cycle and it never hits a tower or just whatever dies to something, it never really hurts you in the long run.
No.
It's the same reason why 4 Skeletons, I think, were such a value card.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Like at the time, I remember people were really upset about a lot of those nerfs, but in hindsight, it seemed to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that tower.
And then Knight still reaches, even with the minions on defense, got up there and did a little bit of damage.
Oh, boy.
And this is a scary looking counter push.
Still half health on that Knight. Good Inferno.
Yeah, it's very strong Inferno. I don't know what's going to get through.
367. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
A little okay, he buys a little time, but... Wow, the Ice Wizard is not distracted by the Inferno Tower. Oh no, and it's gonna hit the tower for a little more.
Well,
yeah,
okay, it's pretty good. One zap.
I don't think I can do it because the Lava Hound's not gonna die.
He can actually just not kill the Lava Hound.
Yeah, exactly. Like that actually might be worse to try to kill the Lava Hound than like just zapping it. But he can always zap it right here. He's got it queued up. 2, 3, zap. Vizard takes game 3 and moves to finals 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
That is a shockingly hard thing to pull off.
Vizard is following in Clark Kent's footsteps right now. Second place last week. Is this week is
That's
when
right.
Clark Kent predicted
it. That is true.
God.
We that's why we got to bring good players in the studio. They know more than us, right? They've got the foresight. But you're right. I mean, only I think 2 players, now 3, in Super Magical Cup history have made back-to-back finals. Clark Kent in Super Magical Cup 3 and 4 of Season 1. Justin for the win in 8 and 9 of Season 1. No one's done it yet in Season 2. Vizard is the first player, a member of, I believe, Clash War. I don't want to get the clan wrong. It's Crucible Wrath.
Crucible Wrath.
Crucible Wrath. To make back-to-back finals. And we'll see if he wins. But first, let's go over to Marcel P. and ESL Yo.
I'm ready. I'm ready, ESL Yo. Come on. Come on, man. I got $50 tied up in this.
Oh, we're betting on this now? Whoa, yeah. ESL Yo, Marcel P. Marcel P opens up with his Minor Inferno control deck, which I think strategically is a very smart thing to start with, because that's a deck that doesn't lose. You know what I mean? Like, you might draw, right, or win, but it's really hard for that deck to lose because of how defensive control-y it is. No matter what they're playing, you can learn their archetype and kind of like...
It actually counters this picky deck pretty well.
You're right, because the P.E.K.K.A. Like, when has a P.E.K.K.A. ever gotten through an Inferno Tower in human history? Right? Those cards, that is a natural predator. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put P.E.K.K.A. up for the blue side, and sure enough, look at that Inferno Tower right there. Actually, 2 of the cards, Guards and Inferno Tower, both exist here. Looking pretty good for Marcel P. ESL Yo, though, is my personal favorite because I love this deck. I'm a big fan of that.
So what's interesting to me about ESL Yo is I think right now with the way the princes are and kind of how effective 3 cost, 2 cost, 1 cost cards are in the meta, there's actually a way to play Prince Cycle, right? And so you actually don't even need to bring the P.E.K.K.A. into the picture until they've committed their Inferno Tower. And so that is kind of in my head what I imagine to happen if the P.E.K.K.A. were to ever be successful.
Sure.
It's in some method of cycling princes to put your opponent off his game, play him out of cycle, play the Inferno Tower out of cycle, and then punish with the P.E.K.K.A.
One advantage I actually see for ESL Yo's deck is that while P.E.K.K.A. might be terrible against Inferno Tower, Prince is pretty serious.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, a Prince charge takes about half or more of the health off of an Inferno Tower, so if he can use his like zaps and poisons to prevent the Inferno Tower from getting too hot before the Prince hits it, he could potentially have this great like blowout push where the P.E.K.K.A. and the princes are coming down. He drops the Inferno Tower. The Inferno Tower gets aced in a few seconds, and then suddenly Marcel just goes. But this will be a really good matchup.
Yeah, we'll see. Guards, Minor, and the Zap and the Inferno Tower are really going to be played well for Marcel P in order for him to stop ESL Yo. Control the princes. I mean, the deck essentially the core elements of defending the deck is still the same, right? You just have to control the princes and kite the P.E.K.K.A.
Yeah, Mini P.E.K.K.A. is another card that can either be an all-star or kind of a scrubber doodle, right? Because he's actually really good against Dark Prince. And
Yeah.
pretty good against Prince if you can distract the Prince at all. He does a lot of damage to it. But Mini P.E.K.K.A.s do not eat Prince charges very well. They're certainly, like, given that Mini P.E.K.K.A. is normally a defensive card, it's shockingly not a good defensive card against Prince decks.
Absolutely. You almost want to play 6 Elixir against the Prince to make sure the Mini P.E.K.K.A. doesn't fall on its face and die.
You want guards plus Mini P.E.K.K.A. will do work against either P.E.K.K.A.s or Princes or any of those things.
Defensive Prince.
Nice.
I think that's one of the best situations to use Prince. You overspend, but look at what a free counter push you get, right?
Yeah.
Like, for only 2 Elixir, you basically get a pretty good charge they have to deal with. Even playing the guards, they're kind of overpaid, right? We got guards and minor compared to the 5 of a Prince.
So interestingly enough, ESLYO is not only in the Elixir Collector advantage, but also has more tower damage done.
Right.
And he hasn't even touched the P.E.K.K.A. yet, which is what we're talking about with Prince Cycle.
And big shout out to our viewers. We got over 250 viewers right now. Pretty good. Thanks everyone for tuning in week to week, keeping up with the games. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel. Make sure to check out our Twitter. We are growing very quickly at the Super Magical. We have one of the fastest growing YouTube channels in the Clash Royale community. So make sure to go over and give us a subscribe.
Nice.
I'll hit that thing. See, as we're talking about, like, big P.E.K.K.A.
Boom.
Yeah.
Nice. Guards in front.
That's very smart play. I mean, you're going to have to counter Inferno Tower some way. Oh, and I like the
poison on
to
top
get
of
rid
that.
those guards, right.
There's a lot of Elixir coming down the side, but P.E.K.K.A. still gets tackled on. He still has a zap. Does he want to use it?
Yeah.
He
Does
does.
use it. Wow.
I mean, that's still a lot of health left on the P.E.K.K.A.
Yes. Even with the 2 towers shooting it, it should get 1 attack in, but...
Oh!
it does! On the Mini P.E.K.K.A. though. Now, I don't know if that Mini P.E.K.K.A. is actually going to make it. I don't know if he even needed to cast the Dark Prince there. I actually prefer the Prince back.
Oh, look at
no,
that.
that's right.
Well played.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Only 1 shot, though, and I think for the cost, I think you'd take that.
Yeah.
This is
And
a
now
scary
that's
card.
a push.
Yep.
Oh, 16 Elixir coming down. The guards are not that good given the Dark Prince just...
The Prince is going for the tower. Oh, my God.
1 hit. 2 hits.
Oh, 6-11. Nice. And that's the thing, right? Marcel P. refuses to play his Inferno Tower as a defense against that, and rightfully so, because Prince is really great against that, but it means you just don't have enough health on the field with the charging Princes to stop that damage coming onto your tower.
The Prince is still charging, though. Oh, and he's blocked by the Mini P.E.K.K.A., which is way favorable for the Mini P.E.K.K.A. there.
Yeah.
Especially because the tower, if you notice, took off the shield right before the Mini P.E.K.K.A. swung.
Goodbye, Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Boink!
And he's going to get the charge again. You're going to need
not going to hit the Prince, though. Guards are MVP so far.
Yes,
Yeah.
the guards have been really, really, really...
The thing
If
is...
those are even skeletons, Marcel P has been 3-crowned already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Ooh.
2,
Gets
3.
The slow is really effective here against the Dark Prince and Ice Wizard.
This is going to be a big push.
still a lot of Elixir on Marcel P's side, so I think he'll be okay for now.
It's kind of cycling the poison and
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Is it Zapple? We're in overtime? 1 R. Oh, and it's just a zap.
18.
Or the poison, which is the next card coming up.
Look at his left side.
ESLYO takes game 1 of their series. But, of course, as we've said in every match now, that P.E.K.K.A. double Prince deck is off the board, right?
Yeah.
There's no more of that to go.
Yeah, and really, like, the P.E.K.K.A. was played once.
It wasn't really effective. I mean, they kind of neutralized each other. I think
Yeah.
ESLYO kind of switched to being more of a, all right, I'm going to have to win this on my Princes, not on
Yeah.
the back of my super slow
he
pack.
kind of held it in his back pocket as in, it forced Marcel not to use the, Inferno for the Princes. So
Yeah. It's such a flexible deck in that sense. Flexible deck. And really, I think the big difference is back then, there was really only Princess and Ice Wizard to be really great 3/2/1 cost cards. Right?
So ESLYO is, of course, playing a Rumham favorite, which is... I clicked the wrong side, sorry. The Rumham favorite of Giant Balloon, which I'm excited to see more of. Marcel sticks with the minor control deck, ideally hoping, I guess, to grind out at least 1 game of a win here.
Still, okay, Inferno Tower and Ice Wizard is a great combination against Balloon. It's just great.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Inferno can actually take out both of the
Giant and the Balloon.
Giant and Balloon. Just throw an Ice Wiz in there just to slow everything down, and it's...
Yeah, Ice Wiz, Zap, Inferno Tower is equally difficult for those balloons to get through because the Inferno Tower kills the Giant faster than any other card in the game. You can play a Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A. kills it pretty fast, but once that Inferno Tower ticks up to its, 2,000 damage a second, mode, that Giant just goes wonk, 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 gone.
Yeah.
And then the Balloon is very shortly after because it has significantly less hit points than a Giant.
Absolutely. All right, let's see.
Game 2. Now remember, if ESL Yo wins this game, that was game 1, okay. Yeah, if ESL Yo wins this game, he advances to the finals against Vizard. If Marcel wins, we're going to go to a game 3 where both players have to play their alternate decks. It'll be ESL Yo's giant balloon deck against Marcel P's second deck, which I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember it. But he did play it. He had to play both decks against Quentin. Thinking, ooh.
Okay.
Marcel's leaking elixir with the best of them.
The other part that kind of is difficult for ESLU right now is the RNG didn't even favor him. Marcel P started out with the Inferno Tower, so there's no opportunity to sneak a balloon by.
No.
If it was 6, 7, or 8 in the cycle, that would have really hurt.
That is a heavy push.
And that's about as valuable a poison as you can dream up, because even the mini P.E.K.K.A is coming through now and stuck in the poison fighting those guards. For only 11 elixir, I believe he just stopped a 14 elixir push.
Yeah. 3 hits from the Giant. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, not bad, actually.
Yeah, that's actually surprisingly good for the
Yeah,
situation.
600 damage for 3 elixir. You'd take that.
Yeah.
But there's nothing to stop this.
Oh, no!
There's nothing to stop.
The Giant comes in just a little too late.
Oh,
And a third swing from the mini P.E.K.K.A, who now doubles back to go fight the Giant. The Ice Wizard is fighting a guard, leaving the mini P.E.K.K.A running away quickly. The Ice Wizard can't reach. Oh, no.
Look at him. He's
Go, mini P.E.K.K.A.
MVP, Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Oh, my God.
Mini
Most
P.E.K.K.A
valuable
heading at
P.E.K.K.A.
the
Oh, God. Most valuable P.E.K.K.A.
Oh! The best 4 elixir.
2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up.
My God. That's a cry emote if we ever had one.
That mini P.E.K.K.A was Jason Bourne.
How has 4 elixir ever gone so far? Now, unfortunately, even with the poison on them, these guards are going to be a pretty big distraction with mini P.E.K.K.A. That was kind of a wasted zap. Like, I think Marcel would have been better off holding that zap than what ended up happening.
Still plenty of time to come back, though.
Of course.
Yeah, he hasn't committed his balloon yet. How do you get past the Inferno Tower, which is still sitting in Marcel P's hand?
And he's kind of gave an opening right there. Like he had the combination. He just dropped Elixir Collector. Could have gone, with the 2. And even if he has an Inferno Tower, that's it. It's like that's all of his elixir. He's tapped out at that point.
Minor defense.
You can see how good those poison is. I mean, it's taking out. Not only dealing damage to the tower that you kind of want to go after.
There it comes.
Doink. Ooh, a little close though. I don't know if I agree with that.
There's no zap on hand for ESLU. There's no Ice Wizard.
Uh-oh, it's going.
The poison. Poison.
Slow it down. But was this mini P.E.K.K.A going to get in there? Even if the
No!
Oh, God.
25 seconds left. ESLU really only has one more opportunity to tie this series up.
Yeah. Here it comes.
Or to put the series away.
And he's going all in right here.
I like it.
Left side didn't work.
Now he has it,
right
but again,
side.
the guards are coming out too late. So I think what he would have had to do there is get the guards in front. Right. Maybe play the Giant a little further back.
Good game. Oh, that's such...
ESLU concedes that game 2. Marcel P ties it up, and we are going to a game 3.
Come on, ESLU.
Oh, my heart's racing.
Come on, man. I know you can do it.
Marcel P, we're going to tie you up here. Ooh. So both of our top 4 matches go to a game 3. Pretty awesome. I love it when I see good players with interesting decks really counter each other back and forth and really get to these really tight games.
No.
Wait.
Yes.
It was... Oh, this one. Okay. No, this one.
Yes. Yes.
All right, here we go. Game 3. So we have Giant Bowler Poison. Again, Marcel's really relying on that Inferno Tower. Oh, that's right. He has it in both of his decks. He's been running Inferno Tower in both. I heard a lot of top players talk about that they expected to see a lot of Inferno at this week's SuperMagicalCup because of how good it is against the Giant Bowler decks. And incidentally, it's going to be pretty good against Giant Balloon.
I mean, this is an unprecedented amount of big body decks being played.
Right.
Even in the weeks where Giant Poison was popular, we saw still a lot of minor Furnace, minor Minion Horde, Trifecta, right? Yep. But almost every single player, I feel like, has some version of a big body deck in this tournament.
Actually else might be kind of a key card, but we'll keep Giant up there. Yeah, I think Barbs actually might have a pretty good showing because Barbs can surround not only Giant, but they can surround the Bowler as well and not get all knocked back at the same time.
Yeah.
But it takes critical placement of it. And if you mess up, I mean, that's just a waste of 5 elixirs. So.
They're also great against the Lumberjack, though, in Marcel's deck. So I think there's a lot of good matchups for Barbs that I think ESLU can usually find value for them. The question is, can he set up the Giant Balloon pushes, knowing what he knows now, with either Barbs or guards in front?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's only one way to find out.
Let's do it.
Doink. Ooh, and of course it's taking place in the deadliest of arenas, Pekka's Playhouse.
Oh, look at the fire.
I like it. This feels like a Game 3 arena.
This
feels
does.
like the cage match where grudges are settled.
What's your favorite arena, Clark Kent?
My favorite arena, I'm a big fan of the Frozen Peak.
Me too.
I like it. It's just different, and it's just
It feels Christmassy.
yes.
Builder's Arena.
Yeah.
If my deck was like a football team, my home stadium would be Builder's Arena. Interesting play here, going with just the naked balloon to see how it works. It fell just short of the Inferno Tower. That's brutal, because if the balloon had at least taken out the Inferno Tower, you know you have an opening.
no.
Oh
That's
no!
exactly what I'm
Oh
talking
no!
about.
That's exactly.
Oh,
Oh no!
Oh, God.
I think he felt that the bowler was going to take another step forward, and the timing just wasn't quite right. The guards
Way
are
better
perfect.
placement with the guards.
There we
Guards
go.
are crushing it, right? Wow. Oh, and that look at ESLYO's at 0 to 9, right?
Yeah.
That was a huge elixir disadvantage right now for ESLYO.
Big push.
Oh, can't push the giant.
This
Still at 0. What's going to stop
this might be a tower.
Yeah.
Well, what's behind it? Is it
Lumberjack.
Lumberjack.
Okay, there it
And
is.
the poison on top. Goodbye, tower.
And now it's
Mini
gonna hit
Pekka will
the
chop it. Oh, but it's the Borsta because he puts the rage down. One more punch.
Yeah.
Wow, Marcel's taking an early one. ESLYO is
Oh,
saying good game, but don't give up yet, ESLYO. You've got a pretty decent counter push coming back here. You're going to put the giant in front. Ops hovers, but Ops not to.
Definitely don't give up yet, ESLYO.
still way plenty of time.
I think the
Giant-
problem is, it's really hard when you're down a tower, because now Marcel can just commit everything to defense, right?
Yes.
He's never going to have to come out of his shell and make another
Yeah.
push and expose himself
Yeah.
to the vulnerabilities of,
He never
attacking.
needs to think about counter pushing.
Right.
He just needs to think about delaying time and defending.
I think ESLYO did this correct. Like
That's
push
great.
Right there. The bowler unfortunately cleans those
Oh,
guards.
the balloon!
Oh, but it's going. You're right. Oh, Ice Spirit jumps on it.
The poison.
Poison
It's
slows
gonna
it.
get. He's gonna get at least.
At least get one
One.
shot. Though. One and not two though. It'll
Yeah,
heat
not
up
two.
too fast.
A lot of elixir was dumped into that, but the same thing that we just talked about, under normal circumstances, that would have been a great push for ESLYO.
Absolutely, yeah.
But Marcel P already put the nail in the coffin.
Running bowler.
Yep.
He's gonna pretty much have to switch lanes here.
Hey, one more bowler and he's got a team.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh no!
Oh, those barbs.
Oh my God! The barbs just disappeared.
Yeah.
Were barbs played?
Yeah,
There they go.
Oh my
And
God!
and
Wow!
They both survived.
You're right.
Oh no.
Doink, 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 doink.
This might be it. No, this is.
Yeah, you're right. Oh no.
The Inferno Tower.
Yeah, Inferno Tower has really been the MVP of Marcel P's 2 decks. He has mastered not just playing it in the right position, but defending it, right? There's a lot of ways to counter an Inferno Tower, but none of them have been showing up in this top 4.
Yeah.
You know who I bet is kicking himself right now is Patriots, who ran the Lightning, right?
Yes.
Like, we saw the Hog Rocket decks last week. We saw Hog Lightning not too long ago. I feel like that's the sort of deck that would really punish Marcel P right now. Some sort of big Prince or Hog push that has the Lightning ready, so as soon as that Inferno and Ice Wizard come down, you just go donk, donk, donk,
Yeah.
clear out all of them and push through.
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Well, let's go ahead and advance
Alright.
Marcel P to the finals.
All right. Both Rumham and Rainey got dunked.
We've got the fan favorite Marcel P against Clark Kent, seeing the future here with Vizard.
So is a SMC. So okay, obviously the talent, the casters are beneath the viewers,
I think.
and now
I
it's
think
a face-off between the viewers and an SMC champion.
I refuse to admit that I'm wrong. I would like to say that I'm a big optimist and root for people that I like. That's a much more favorable way for me to place it. Okay. Vizard and Marcel P meeting in their Marcel P's first finals. He had a top 8 last week, makes it all the way to the finals this week. Vizard, 2-time finalist. Can he finally push through here and take the crown that he's desired so much this season? We've seen him in a lot of the qualifiers. We've seen him in a lot of these
Yes.
invitationals. This might be his chance to break out this
Yeah.
week.
It's gonna be interesting to see how he counters.
It's one or the other.
He's gonna be interested to see how he counters the Inferno here.
You're right. That's
Absolutely.
definitely been pushing people through.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So interesting. Both Vizard and Marcel P. And one of the things that I talked about in the beginning is I really want to see these new players who are grinding it out and playing hard and really working at improving get a tournament win. and Vizard and Marcel P definitely go under those categories. Haven't really had the glory of a first-place finish, but now are on the precipice of making themselves champions. Vizard being Clark Kent's champion, and Marcel P being the people's champion.
The people champs. All right, let's take a look at this. Game 1 of the finals.
All right, Vizard, show me your moves.
Show me what you've got.
That's when the Pekka deck comes up.
Oh my god, I love that deck. I'm just a fan of double princes. Every time somebody rolls up with double princes into this tournament, I mark out for them so bad. Bakalol, come back!
Yeah.
Both League and Elixir here.
Yeah.
This is my kind of match here. This is it.
This is it. What are they doing? So neither wants to make the incorrect play, right?
We wait.
What are they doing? I mean, I guess...
There you go. He broke.
Yeah, broke.
He cracked.
The ice cream got soft enough.
I just feel like
funny.
there's like a camera going between their two faces, and blood vessels are starting to appear on Vizard's face.
I'd love to talk with Vizard and be like, what are you thinking when that happens? Because I'm so phobic about leaking elixir that I don't know what you're so worried about early in the game. Like, was he trying to push down the other lane, like whatever giant lane the other opponent plays, he goes down the other, or the same, or what?
Lone Lumberjack making
going.
his trip.
Oh no, he does get at least 2 shots in.
Yeah.
Almost 3.
That mini Pekka just dunked.
Oof.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
mini
think,
P- uh-oh.
1 square off to the side, but maybe not.
Nice ice whiz.
Great
Ice
defense,
spirit.
Vizard.
Talk about Supercell making troops harder to distract. That was
That was.
We're seeing a lot of really good center yard plays.
Yeah.
So, I was just thinking about how King K had that
Yeah.
giant Sparky deck, and it just blew. Oh, he's gonna knock
No,
over
you
the
can
tower!
One more.
Vizard! Vizard with the super micro right there.
And then the value poison.
Oh my god, so it's crazy. So Marcel ended up playing his new pump over on the other side because these games were coming down to such 1-0 victories that he didn't want to give Vizard an easy poison on the lower health tower, but it came back to bite him because that poison was now worth way more than the 4 elixirs spent on it.
absolutely.
Oh, freeze! Oh, the bowler lived!
Yes. Oh.
And he's still going. Oh, he's so mad. Bowl fast.
Oh.
Ooh. That Ice Wizard's not going to contribute too much damage, even with the miner supporting it.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh. Ice Wizard doesn't want any part of this.
Well, he played the miner in a perfect spot to where the King Tower didn't hit.
Yeah.
That shows how experienced of a miner player Marcel is. If you play it, I wish I could like draw on the screen or something.
Yeah.
But that top right corner of Vizard's right tower, that one single square, is outside the reach of the enemy king.
Valuable position when you're playing in a 1-1 situation too.
Full health.
Wow, this is looking really bad for Marcel.
That's how you get past an Inferno Tower.
Great guard placement though. He surrounded the bowler and put it in a situation where the bowler's rolls aren't even hitting the tower.
Yeah. All right.
Force
here's
Marcel to play the
footage.
defensive miner.
Yep.
Now this miner walking up is just going to walk into the king tower range because he's not able to be placed
Yep.
with his diggy. And there again.
Oh my god.
Value
like
poison.
I
That's
don't-
a 60% elixir collector too.
I just feel like you can't even once you've seen that play, you can't do it, right?
Yeah.
Like you're giving up because even if he's not doing it on your weak tower, you're losing like 7 or 8 elixir worth of pumps, and it's great. I do that every time.
Yeah. Here it comes. Lumberjack for the defense against the miner, and the giant to assist. This is a tough sell. Poison on top of the Inferno Tower.
Rage.
Oh no, the double inferno.
Good Inferno because it's dragging him over.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
He might pull him into the other lane if the next giant doesn't work out either.
Yep.
It might be.
Bowler. I like that placement too. Bowler up front, Ice Spirit in the back. So no matter which way the miner goes, you have a chance to both freeze it so it doesn't do any damage, and then knock it away from the tower a little
Yeah.
bit.
Big push.
Let's see how
That
this.
miner is the giant
Oh,
being
the
pushed
Ice
so
Wizard-
far. No, he
Okay,
gets pulled.
yeah.
Okay. Oh wow, double
Wow.
laser beams. But is it enough at this point?
Oh, the bowler rocking.
Oh no!
Oh, my
I was gonna
God.
say I actually think just 2 poisons might win. Like the Inferno Towers kind of don't matter anymore. They've been removed from the game.
Just the tip.
Just the little itty bitty tip of that big old ball.
He's rocking in the free world.
All right. So we've got Vizard takes game 1 over Marcel P. We're gonna go to game 2 of the
my
finals.
God.
Vizard is only 1 game away from his first Super Magical Cup title and probably one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant, 2-week performance in Super
Yeah.
Magical Cup history.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Okay, so Vizard has to run his triple musketeer deck.
That's right.
So it's going to
keep
be
that up there.
Knight, Miner, and then it's going to be Ice Wizard, Ice Spirit, Zap Log, and then the Lumberjack, Three Musketeer.
And then Marcel's going with his other deck,
The
bowler.
The bowler version of his Inferno Tower.
Yeah.
Because he went with the miner the first time, but now he's switching to bowler. I wonder if Marcel knows that the Three Musketeers deck, is what's up, and he thinks that this has a better matchup. Because in my head, I feel like this has a worse matchup than the miner control list. But I don't know. All right.
Well, no matter what, he's gonna have to win both.
Yeah, so, I guess he's just going down swinging. But clearly, you'd want to play the one that you think has a better matchup.
Yes. Let's see.
What? Hit that card. There it is. All right.
Is it true? Did Clark Kent somehow know? I've always said, and this is one of the reasons I hyped Clark Kent up a lot as a player, because he disappeared for a while after he played. And when I saw him play in the first Super Magical Cup and he came really close to winning, I thought to myself, Clark Kent is a player that just hadn't been able to show his skills yet, and there's so much that he knows about the game.
If you dig deep enough into our YouTube channel, it's still there. There's a video where we compared you and I think ManuFan. It was a game between Clark Kent and ManuFan. We did a big breakdown of it, and who would have known back then, many, many moons ago, that that both players would be some of the most accomplished Super Magical Cup performers. Yeah.
And now he's lending his talents to commentary for us, and also making a crazy prediction.
Lots of damage done here.
I mean, that's great defense by both players, but it's interesting because Vizard has to... It's okay if the first couple Three Musketeers don't really go anywhere, as long as you're not getting huge elixir disadvantages on it, because you learn what your opponent's going to do, and if you can always stay one step ahead on each split push, you'll eventually have one that breaks through for 2,000 plus damage.
Yeah. Split 2 to the giant side.
Interesting he's splitting them in front instead of behind the King Tower. Like, I don't know if there's... clearly he wants them to be a little closer to the river than normal, but if they were further back... Wouldn't they still be safer on their side of the board?
Saving up the bowler. The bowler.
And actually, the bowler might be splitting them up so only one gets hit. Yes, there it is.
And he's having to go back and forth, too.
So there's a great situation where Three Musketeers can counter the bowlers. There's a weird natural placement there.
Man. That
hurt. And
that came from the angle, too. If Bowler was aligned more just vertically with the Three Musketeers, he would have hit them both. Yeah.
Still 2 minutes down and there's been no damage.
The first one is going to be this
mine.
No, nothing hit Ice Spirit. That's the first damage of the match.
But here back to Lumberjack.
Oh, 1, 2,
3.
That's 600 damage.
Nice.
That was 600
And that
damage.
Knight's going to get some damage too.
Yeah, we talked about how good Knight is against Lumberjack. I mean, he has 50%, or more than 50% more hit points than the Lumberjack for one less elixir. He's really great if you're trying to find something to fight him.
Big push here.
That Ice Spirit on the bowler was nice to save a little time, but the Knight came down just a little too late to distract.
And the bowler's locked on.
Yep. Pretty good counter push here, though. The Ice Wizard Musketeer Knight is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's 9 elixir worth of fighting.
Yeah, plus the miner. Interesting that the miner was not on the Inferno Tower. It was
good counter with the Lumberjack.
Yeah. Good defense.
And then you got a split. Oh, poison.
4 Musketeers on the board.
4 Musketeers.
Not quite 7. Here comes Lumberjack Musketeer down the left side. I think he's got a pretty good opportunity to do some damage, so that Inferno Tower might go down. Nope, Psych, it's going to burn that thing to death.
Yep.
I was expecting to time out a little quicker.
Lumberjack Giant Ice Spirit there.
Ooh.
Even with the freeze, though, Knight's still pretty strong there, but that Rage Giant has just been very strong time after time.
Ooh, 3 Musketeers all contributing, and that poison's already committed.
And the poison's already off, so all 3 full health Musketeers.
Here comes the bowler play.
I think there needs to be a miner plate in the center right now, because then that would turn the bowler around.
Oh, I get it. It would take both towers and the bowler.
And it also stops the Inferno Tower.
The Ice Spirit there, oh, wow.
What a play.
It's great, very little micro.
Look at that, it's a Rage.
Oh, it is. It shoots
double
once.
Rage.
3. Oh, God. We're deep in overtime. The first tower to go down is it, and both of these decks have the ability to just generate insane push. That Ice Wizard is actually going to do very good work killing those 3 Musketeers, because only a little bit of damage plus the poison will kill them.
I feel like right now the dangerous spot is where is the next Lumberjack going to be positioned. Actually, that miner is actually going to do a good bit of damage.
Good zap.
Okay.
Now, here's the thing. Log and zaps could theoretically grind that tower down.
Yes. You got to cycle through.
He's not casting the log very aggressively, so it doesn't seem like he's super married to this idea.
No. The Musketeers go the other way.
And the Lumberjack.
No.
Lumberjack's pushing 1 hit. Lumberjack goes on the Ice Wizard with the zap and helps it kill.
No!
Marcel P ties it up. Only 100 himself away from losing. All because of an erroneously split musketeer.
It needed that one extra musketeer.
Yeah, because that would have even drug the lumberjack further away to, fight a little more. Wow. Tied up, we go to game 3. We've had all game 3s here in the top 4. This has been a great week of matches. So let's see. We're going to the finals here. The third game of the finals. The winner of this next game is Super Magical Cup number 7 Champion.
Champion. Oh my god, what a journey too.
And we have, of course, the Three Musketeers deck, which have done very, very well the last month or so. They've won here and again. They've been in the finals. I want to say every week for the last 3 weeks has been at least one Three Musketeer deck in the finals. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, Three Musketeers have definitely been a very popular card, and I think for good reason, just because this idea of split pushing, I think, is so strong in the scope of the game. There are two ideologies that we talked about in this broadcast. The one is first defense, then offense, and that can be broken. You can understand how to break through that with Hog Cycle decks. The other thing is, the other ideology is Three Musketeers talking about split pushing as opposed to pushing one side, right? Yeah. Committing all your elixir down one lane, or committing elixir for both lanes and trying to figure out what your advantage is. Two unexplored.
And big shout out to Miner, by the way. Everyone was really worried about the Miner nerf just taking this card totally out of the meta. Here we have two Miner decks meeting in the finals of the game, although obviously Marcel P's deck really relies on the Miner as a main damage source, whereas Vizard is using it more in a support role.
Yeah. Interesting that I feel like, of course, we haven't watched enough games to really make a definitive statement, but the Furnace is just non-existent.
Yeah, what happened to Furnace? Minor Furnace was the very first thing we did this season was that 800-player qualifier, and Malcade got second with a Minor Furnace deck that I thought was going to be a key part of the meta for the future, and I don't know what happened. I think probably just the amount of range attackers, Princess, Musketeer, etc. do a great job.
I mean, Giant Poison itself is just
poison, yeah. Marcel got off to a pretty good start here, because not only did he defend his collector really well, but using the Miner and guards here for a little bit of extra damage, I think he's going to be pretty happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, that was pretty well. That was
500.
I'd take that any day. Plus a full health elixir. Yeah, I mean pump. Yeah.
Yeah, good defense with the guards and converting the elixir into some kind of aggressive.
Absolutely. Oh, Musketeer pretty far away, but I think he's going to do the Ice Spirit to pull it. Very smart play. And he even got to drag the extra Musketeer in. Okay. Those Musketeers should be dead, right? Because of the zap and the thing?
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
That was well worth it.
And I'm surprised he didn't go for the Elixir Collector there.
Oh, no! the Musketeer locked on.
Oh,
Still got a good amount of damage, and the guards are walking away. Oh, another great use of the log.
Nice. That was beautiful.
Log's a no joke card.
I'm gonna do golf
and actually this is post buff log, right? So it's both casting faster, moving a little faster. We could see how every little second matters when things are bearing down on your tower. So to cast a little bit faster and move a little bit faster has actually helped quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Vizard. Starting with Knight in the back.
Good little Knight.
Lumberjack?
I mean,
questionable. I'm not really sure what the point of that was. I mean, I guess you just want to pass Elixir, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, additional damage. You got nothing else coming on, so.
Vizard just now gets his Miner back, so is he...
That Lumberjack's going to get a hit. No. Oh, had to use the zap.
But now he doesn't have zap to defend.
Another well-defended Miner.
That's what we've talked about Marcel. Marcel is known as one of the best Miner defenders in the game today. That's 2 in a row so far. He's defended a critical game. Like, the pressure is on for Marcel, and he is not choking it away, knowing that he has to defend every single one of those pumps. Opening himself up to that poison again, though. I think that didn't go too well for him last time.
No.
And I actually like how he used the Miner there to hold the Three Musketeers.
Hold the Three Musketeers, get some damage.
Facing down a counter push, but because Knight is slow...
Man, that Knight on the right side walked fast enough to cover for the Musketeers on the right. So the Knight on the left covered for the Musketeer on the right. Nice.
And another Miner goes down. Oh, actually, yeah.
Here we go again. Get the chip damage. He's just chipping away.
It's not worth it though, right? It's 3 elixir for 120
The poison missed
damage.
the tower.
Oh no!
And that's the big thing that was keeping Marcel P ahead, really.
Yes. And I think he already used his zap as well.
Yeah, he used his zap.
They walked out a little early.
Yeah.
Oh no!
All right, we're heading into overtime, so this is becoming critical moments. Sudden death.
That's a.
I like that the Lumberjack actually ran back. That actually, I think, is better for Vizard.
Oh,
he's
still
you got the double and he goes under the tower.
Oh my god. Alright. Ice is just out of
So they're going to poison, right? Now he got the tower.
Yeah.
Miner.
This Inferno Tower is just blowing my mind. Like, what what is going to get through Marcel P's defense? You can't go for his collectors because he's the best minor defender in the game, right? And he's also doing a great job at defending these Inferno towers.
I think it's worth it to throw your miner on the Inferno tower. Just do it.
Yeah,
when you have your 3 musketeers on the table, just do it.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, you're just going for the tower. You're down by 600. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yep. Do it. Do it now.
God,
no,
Poison's
gonna
been
zap
so
it.
good against these decks.
Finally.
Finally. A miner gets a hit on a collector.
Yeah, but
at what cost?
Yeah, the damage has already been done.
The unfortunate part about Visor is that because he's not... I think the best thing you could do against this deck is to build up a really big scary push, right? Like you want one of those Pekka double Prince sort of pushes against these Inferno towers. But because his deck is more split pushy and doesn't really have the ability to push through, slowly but surely Marcel is just grinding out that left side tower. Yep. Even if it's only 200 damage at a time.
Yeah.
Miner again.
Here's a good opening because both of those musketeers are, for once, not hurt.
It's coming down to the wire.
This is one poison away. This is one poison away.
Poison does 200 damage, I think, not 220. Or no, am I wrong?
I think it's like
220.
No, not 220. We'll see. We'll see.
He's gonna zap it too.
And zap.
Yep.
That's it. The zap is all you
There
need
it
for the win. And Marcel P takes his first Super Magical Cup title, number 7 of the season.
The People's
The
Champion.
People's Champion. Wizard, that's back-to-back weeks, man. Just keep them pushing.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Oh, no.
That's okay, though, because Vizard, I think, has put together one of the best 2-week performances I've ever seen. I mean, it's really hard, as we saw, to cut through this field. And he did it, right? He cut through all the way to the finals. It came down to only 2 Super Magical Cup contenders left. So let's look at why did it switch away? I moved away from the bracket for whatever reason. But yeah, let's go through it real quick. We have Backstab 2-1, Vizard 2-0 over Shreddy Wop, Marcel 2-0 over Quentin, ESL Yo 2-0 over Darth Jar Jar. Top 4, Marcel P 2-1s ESL Yo, Vizard 2-1s Backstab, and Marcel P 2-1s Vizard in the finals.
Oh, man.
Woo, buddy.
Oh, very interesting tournament. Clyde couldn't make it. Woody also got knocked out.
He wasn't early. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. And so very interesting results. Marcel P. Finally, after being forlorn at his performance in the last week, who could have known would make it all the way to the finals and win it.
And I'm really excited about this Vizard deck. I'd like to try this one out if I had a Lumberjack. But I like that it's still a primarily 3 Musketeer split deck, but it passes on the stuff that a lot of the other 3 Musketeer decks did. Like Darth Jar Jar, for example, ran Princess and Elixir Collector in both of his 3 Musketeer decks. Vizard has a very different build on it.
Yes,
right?
it's very, very different. It's essentially just basically just going on split pushes and just have a cheap tank in front and let the Musketeers do the work. So
Sure. No, great game. Great games overall. This was a very exciting top 8. Clark Kent, awesome to have you in the studio.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
When are we going to see you back in the tournament, buddy? Are you going to be entering next week?
I'm going to try.
We need you to get real deep into it because you need to be in the top, I think, 32 to make the Season 2 championship.
I think I'm close to... I'm in the 30s.
You're like the 40 yeah, well, you know, people are getting points every week when you're sitting here running your mouth watching games.
Yeah. I'm just letting them have a chance. That's what it is,
Right.
Yeah.
I understand. Vizard versus Marcel P. Marcel P will be the winner. Congratulations to Marcel. Congratulations to Vizard for 2nd place. And 3rd force is going to be ESL Yo and Backstab X. Thank you to all the people who came out to participate. Really, really glad that Clark Kent was able to come down and visit us and hang out and talk about games and lend us some insight into what it's like as a participant and also as a player, a pro player looking into kind of the meta and the scene and the decks and having his insight about how the games come down.
Yeah, man, it's been a pleasure to be here. I mean, I'm glad to help out and glad to any time to, need me, call me.
And don't forget, Clark Kent is also in the Super Magicals clan, so you're going to be seeing a lot more of Clark Kent in YouTube videos, live streams, things like that, so we can help really educate the community on what we think is an awesome competitive game. Like, Rainey and I cast these tournaments every week. We watch in-game tournaments, we watch qualifiers. I keep up with the Clan Royale League and all the other stuff. The tournament meta is so exciting and so healthy, and we just want to make sure that every member of the Clash Royale community has the opportunity to learn from the best in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Woo. All right, Clark Kent, do you have any final words before we depart?
Just keep on clashing, guys. Just grind it out. Don't get discouraged. Just keep on going.
Absolutely. Wise words from an SMC champion. We will see you guys next week for more exciting Clash Royale competitive Super Magical. Make sure you follow the channels above. We've got the YouTube, we've got the Twitch, we've got the Twitter. Clark Kent, what is your Twitter?
My Twitter is at Sean SEAND as in dog Millen MILLAN. It's my name, so I'm not afraid.
All right. You're not Clark. You're not. I thought your real name was Clark Kent.
Oh no! All right. Make sure to give him a follow at Sean D. Millen. And we will see you guys next time.
Peace.